It was time for him to go. I'm getting old.
I'm so sorry.
Hey,
Started
team
thinning out,
ball over here.
thinning out
Yeah,
up
man.
there. And it was time to go. Had to let it go. It hurt me.
Oh, you cut your hair, Chico?
Yeah.
Recently?
Mm-hmm.
So you have like a shiny bald head, like Dave's bald head.
There you go. Represent. Come on now. Come on now.
Live like a wire. Such a whole house on fire.
Still not used to that. This shit's crazy.
Nah, bro. It looks good, bro.
Nah.
And you had hair
No.
all that time, like
Listen.
from high school on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen.
So what made you go bald?
Well, nature. What's
Listen.
Oh,
Listen, Cheek's hair used to be, his round top used to be out to here, bro.
Yeah.
Especially when he came from Chuck's.
Yeah,
His
Chuck used to
hair
hook
top
me
was
up.
like,
Yo, I
oh
still
my
got a
God.
picture from the press. Me and Stoddy. Remember Stoddy?
Yes, sir.
We was playing drums. And
Stoddy.
my shit was like perfectly
Yeah, I
round.
remember him.
Where he at?
I don't know. Stoddy Sinclair. I don't know.
Stoddy.
What is Chuck?
I looked him up,
I
and he's an engineer or something like that.
That makes sense.
Like he's in the computers and all that. I looked him up maybe several years ago,
Sit down.
and he's like a computer wizard.
Yes,
It's
it's
one
my
of those
glasses.
nights, huh?
Sit down.
I don't know where nobody is, so don't ask me.
Chico said, I don't know where nobody at.
I disappeared. I fell into the cut many years ago.
Here.
I should have done that.
I feel you on that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I hit the live button a minute ago because there's certain things that will probably be said, and I want to capture it and make a digital footprint of it, so we'll have that forever. I wish I would have got the part where she would have been like, Chico.
Nah,
Yeah.
cut that out. See? No, I'm good.
You were like, Chico. But yeah, we are live.
You know what?
Hey!
I always think that's funny though, because like, how many Chicos do y'all know?
None.
Right.
None.
No, I don't know any of the Chicos. That's so true.
People be like, "That's Chico." Like, what? It's only how many other ones is it?
You know what?
I might know 3.
That's classic to say. The fact that
it's especially in our circle, there's only one Chico.
One Chico. That's crazy.
Yep.
One Chico.
Especially
It
since
might be one party too, though. It might be one party too, though. It might be one party.
real.
It is one party.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
but I would never be
the
like,
man has a Scarlet Flyers cap, so you should have picked on that.
Yo, my
Picked up on
brother-in-law
that one.
is selling these too. These are sweet.
Cool.
He's like 10 years younger than us. His name is Dario.
Okay.
Because I saw somebody else selling them. Yeah.
I think he sold a bunch to Scott Harley or something like
Yes,
that. And
that's who I saw.
reselling.
Mr. Dwayne Stewart.
What's up, man?
God, Harley. Wow. Oh my
What up?
God.
What up, Dwayne?
Like ancient names.
What's up, Dwayne?
We old, man.
Yeah.
Nah, man, we better, man.
Well, we're older.
I don't have a
Older.
problem with it.
I just say we classic. We
I
like
shouldn't be here,
classic.
so I'm
now.
thankful.
Yep.
Yeah. But yes, let's get it cracking. I already said we live, but yeah, I'm your brother Mordeeb. This is another POD Put Out Direct podcast show. I have a wonderful panel tonight. We're gonna get into a glorious story / history of where we come from, Neptune, New Jersey, and we're gonna share some stories, get into some things, and basically talk about what made us. And it's a very rich story. I feel like leave it up to me. The world needs to hear it. Like I was talking to Dave the other night, and was like, "Yo, we can make a movie about this. Like for real, a movie."
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure wherever you from, you can also make a movie about your life because whatever you've been through, I'm pretty sure it's profound. And
But it wasn't like what we did.
Yeah. Everybody has a book. Everybody has their own personal book. If we all wrote a book,
and plus in the mind, in the backdrop is the culture of like I was telling Dre, the classic hip hop era, New Jack Swing era, that late 80s, early to mid 90s mind time frame. It's just pretty magical, you know?
Definitely.
You know?
So we got a story to tell. We're gonna get into it tonight. You know, come through. I did a lot of you know, letting people know from, you know, where we from to come through and support us and check out. So come through in the chat. Got any questions? Want to make comments? It's all good. So
can we see the chat or no?
If you probably have to like go on YouTube on your phone and you can see the chat, but whoever posts something, I'll put it on the screen so you'll see it pop up. Like Dwayne just made a comment and I put it on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So if anybody asks a question or anything, I just put it up there and y'all can y'all see it in real time. So we're gonna go ahead and open up. So let's do it. And we are back.
I can't see.
Back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh my God, you took it back. Took it back.
So I'm gonna go ahead and open up. Our show tonight is highlighting our history in Neptune, New Jersey. I'm gonna go ahead and segue into, you know, and open up the floor on what we're gonna be discussing tonight. Me personally, like I said, we can actually make a movie about, you know, what we've been through and where we're from. I think everybody has a story to tell, but when your story has so many layers to it, like ours has, coming from the area that we came from, it's almost like a melting pot. You would say New York City is a huge melting pot, but when you're strategically placed where Jersey Shore is, you have influences and you're surrounded by a lot of influences that make you who and what you are. But at the same time, we were who we were and we weren't trying to really be like anybody else, but we still had the influence. And just coming up as a youngster up until adulthood, there's different sections of our life that was impacted by certain things that were going on in our community. And we had a lot of fun times. We had a lot of surreal times, and we lost some people along the way. And before we start getting into our stories, I want to give a shout out to all our fallen comrades from where we're from. And I was talking to Dave last night about trying to get really a list together, because where we're from, to lose someone while we were coming up, it was a big deal because we're a real tight-knit community. So if someone passed, we all knew about it. It was all discussed because it was almost an anomaly. And when you say you from Jersey, where we're from, people automatically think, you know, it's wild and New Jersey Drive and all this other stuff. But nah, we wasn't really like that, but we had our share of shit going on. So to lose someone, it was a big deal, and everybody talked about it and everybody discussed it because that's how tight our community was. And I want to give a shout out to Asbury Park. Asbury Park You know, I really didn't want to single out Neptune, but that's home base. But Asbury Park and Neptune theoretically should be one and the same, because you can literally throw a rock across the street into another city, and I'm not even being funny. It's really like that. Somebody got some background noise. Television. All right. But yeah, I want to also give a highlight to Asbury Park, because Asbury Park is such a historical place, as well as an intricate place that played a major part in who we are. And that's probably gonna have to be another show, getting into, you know, some of my comrades from Asbury and bringing them on and letting them tell their story about where they're from. But we basically from the same house. I mean, realistically, but you still have home base, and Neptune is our home base, and it's a glorious place, and we got a lot of stories. But we gonna kick it off. But the first thing I want to ask, if the panel, if you had to sum Jersey up, and we're gonna start with Chico. If you had to sum Jersey up, no, not Jersey, but Neptune, 3 words, just 3.
I don't know about that. 3 words.
What words would you pick? Just 3, if you had to sum it up to describe it.
Damn,
Somebody's TV's up.
who's watching TV?
Yeah,
Maybe it's
TV's
mine.
up. I hear the TV, water, the whole shebang.
3 words.
Oh no, that's not me.
Struggle.
I ain't me.
Somebody TV said hotel. Pot your TV on?
Nothing's on in here, man.
I heard hotel or something. It's not.
Yeah, that's
Dave.
somebody watching an old school show.
That's
you, Dave?
It might be me. My mother-in-law is watching something.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Chick.
If it affects, I'll change locations. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. Let's see. Struggle. Culture. And brotherhood.
All right, Pot.
Only thing that really came to mind to me was dang, I forgot the name of the song. The song with Most Def. I'm with Kanye West and Most Def. That's all it is right there, man.
Kanye West and Most Def. Told his cat to pick 3 words.
3 words. 3 words. That's the song. I mean, 2 words. No, I think the song was 2 words, right? Well, 3 words.
I don't know what song that is, but go ahead, Jay. What's up with you?
The first 3 things that came to mind were crazy, unique, and classic.
Okay. What about you, Dave?
I would have to say magical, eccentric, and that's the 3rd one. Magical, eccentric, and energetic.
Man, you got me imagining wizards and it
had a bit of magical, eccentric, and mysterious.
Man, that's goddamn epic movie.
What about you?
My 3 words. My shit is abstract. I'm gonna say dark. I'm gonna say ocean.
That's a good word, because the ocean definitely represented this place. Period. Was the ocean.
And I'm gonna say damn. Dark.
See?
Ocean and
it's hard, man. It's
I'm gonna say classic.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what you just said it. We got the 2 oceans. We got Asbury Park Beach, and we forgot about Ocean Grove and
Ocean Grove.
We got Ocean Grove and Belmar.
Yeah, but Ocean Grove is part of Neptune, though.
When you say ocean, I think of Belmar. When you say dark, I think of Asbury Park.
It was the beaches was really what we were. We were beach. It's basically beach, sand, and water, man. I mean, beach.
It was dark about Neptune.
Classic. I think of like those 90s videos, like.
Yeah.
That's why I chose classic, because we like rolled up.
Please
rolled up.
let me know if this ain't love. That's what it was.
What the hell?
Let me know.
Probably, I know the song you're talking about too. It just came into my head.
But nah,
Kanye West and Most Def. I got it. I got you. I'm with you.
what was the song? What was the song, Chico?
It's called 3 Words.
Oh, okay.
3 words. Most Def. Something. Everybody move.
Both.
Yeah, I know.
Right there,
Bring it up.
Okay.
But why you say dark though? What's dark about Neptune to you?
When I say dark, it's not in the sense of dark and frightening, but we as people coming from that area, we moved around at night a lot.
Man.
I mean, does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
We moved around in packs at night a lot, and that was normal.
Oh,
that's why I said dark. That's why I said dark.
Nonstop was a big part too. It was the football games, the Asbury versus Neptune Long Branch football game.
Nonstop.
Like Tribe Called Quest was like they were the soundtrack to our lives. So a lot of that dark movement, we was always listening to music.
True. Because we went through phases, and each phase, we wore each phase. And when I say we wore, not just fashion, but just our mindsets. We wore the time that we were in at that particular time. Because I remember when we went through the whole, let's just say, Black awareness time. And I'm gonna say this. Chico,
I'm about to say everybody didn't do that. We was doing
Sis,
it. Cool.
Chico and Sis and their crew was the embodiment of that, and they reminded me of
Native Tongues.
If you can roll up Jungle Brothers, De La, Tribe into one big ball, that was them.
Yep,
and they were iconic for that, and that needs to be speaked on because nobody else from Neptune rolled like that, but that crew.
Yeah, they were our native tongues, and you know.
So Chico, you classic, bro,
and that was super organic too. Like I really didn't know no other way to be. I know at least for me, because I came from Ocean Township.
Yeah,
so I grew up in Ocean Township until the 10th grade. So the culture shock of being around all these black people. Right, my people. It was like a culture shock to me. And then my first, because of band, I was a drummer. I was first introduced to Sizwe and Miss Butler. Like that was my introduction to Neptune.
Oh, okay.
So it was like culture overload, and it just I didn't want nothing else. Like I had this yearning for information and knowledge because I spent my whole life deprived of who I was. So it was like I couldn't be anything else than that. And sometimes, didn't nobody want to hear that shit. Didn't anybody want to hear you preaching about pro-black this and red, black, and green? None of y'all went to hear that shit.
I did.
Listening to you, and then like hearing Dave like a while back when we were on the show about the trauma, and listening to you, I wish I would have like connected with you guys in high school. However, you are the first person, Chico, for me to ever hear like the culture shock thing. I thought I was like the only one on the planet.
Really?
So you
Chick,
get it.
I didn't know that, Chief.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like, I didn't know you felt like that.
Like B Park and what's that place when you went People Place and all that shit? Like
yeah.
I had a completely different experience than y'all. I had a completely white experience. Like
I remember
traumatized by white people. I got kicked out of the school for fighting. Like, so coming to Neptune was like it was like a blessing for me. It was something that I feared all my life. I feared getting, because I didn't live in Ocean. I lived in Neptune, right? And I was cheating going to Ocean Township, and I always feared I was gonna have to go to Neptune. But I got into one too many fights, and then they sent me there, and it was like a blessing. All these black people, all this beautiful black shit that I never knew about.
That you never knew about.
And I hated them. And I started. Miss Butler had me in there reading books. I would go to school. Sometimes I would cut school to go read books. Like we really did shit like that. Like all that X-Clan and Tribe Called Quest. Like we really lived that way. It wasn't like a trend.
They made sure they killed all of them. They made sure they killed any type of groups like that. All them groups were killed.
Yep.
So that's why I was saying in one of your podcasts, Dave was talking about trauma and shit. Like that's why I said brotherhood, because I forged a lifelong bond with about 8 people, right? Because we was different. We was like popular, like we fucked with everybody, but at some point, nobody wants to stop talking about, the pyramids. Like at some point, that shit is kind of like corny.
Yeah.
So we didn't have anything but each other to talk to that shit about. So that's what I'm saying, Dave. Like you always had an end. Like that's what we did. Was we built each other up.
I know that now. I think ever since then, I've had a different. I look back on it now differently than I did. I purged it.
Yeah.
It was my truth. But now when you grow and the blinders come off, now I realize in some aspects that it was a blessing. It wasn't all dark. You know what I'm saying? For me, I've always been this way. I've always been who I am. But I just needed an outlet to truly accept me for me. So I now realize that you brothers, Dre and Pot, y'all were my foundation as well. So before,
but your path is your path. So no, absolutely, your path is your path. There's no mistake. Everything you did was for a reason. That's why I'm always proud of Dre. Like the type of person the type of man you become. This shit is bugged out to me, but I love it. Sometimes I wish I could reverse time because there's so much information we could have shared. And so many years have passed, but sometimes I can't wait till we can go back in time so we can relive this shit. Because I had no idea you was on the path that you were on. That shit is crazy. I thought you were still like a funny man, comedian.
Exactly. And a lot of people, that shocks them sometimes to come in contact with the person that I am now, because their memory of me is the funny guy in school, like making people laugh and cracking. And my bubble of friends, we were the comedy. You guys were the conscious bubble that, everybody had their lane, and we enjoyed everybody. We
were interchangeable though. We didn't chastise and cast because of our lanes.
Exactly. And it's all divine, the fact that and I get it. You saying, you had no idea about me the way I am now. But the thing is, I think the way the universe structured things back then was for a reason. Like you replaced the Neptune for a reason. And we've come full circle. And the fact that we've come full circle now is a blessing. The fact that we can have this conversation. And I'm just going to be direct. If we changed anything about that process, we could have messed all of this up where we are now.
That's true. That's true.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's so true.
So it was all perfect in its design.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
So it was all preordained.
Yeah. No matter how bad, no matter how good, I enjoyed the ride. Like I don't care what occurred. I'm happy I was a part of the movie.
Yeah.
That's how I look at where I come from. It's a movie.
Right.
And we lived it.
Yep.
And we lived it. And we're still here to tell about it. And it's my job. I felt like it's my job now to document it.
Yeah.
As much as I could, so we can have a digital footprint on our story. As much as we can possibly get that down. I want to go back to giving a shout outs to the people we lost along the way. And like I said, to lose somebody in the community back then was a big deal because we were so tight knit. And if we lost someone, we all knew about it. We all talked about it. It was really a big deal. So, for everybody that we did lose, let's give a shout out to them and their families because they're part of our Neptune family as well as our Asbury family. That made us who we are, and those experiences that we experienced when we did lose someone affected us. Case in point, and I know y'all remember this. We had a situation where something happened in Asbury with a sister in a small portion of a wooded area near Dave's house. Dave is particular, and I'm going to paraphrase just for respect out of people's families and stuff like that. But when that happened to her, you know, we all knew about it. We all talked about it because of the community, how tight knit we were. But I remember when that happened, outside was different a little because things like that didn't occur often, but it affected and it vibrated throughout our community to the point where it changed me. When that girl got that done to her, and it was a mystery of who done it, and that person was still free. They didn't know who or what. Our community gets shaken by things like that, and it affects us. That's a part of our growing, and that's just one of many of situations, and that just gives a glimpse of how tight our community is when you talk about Asbury and Neptune, how close we were when things happened. And that actually did that occur in at Asbury, Dave, or right on the threshold?
That was Asbury.
She was found on Monroe Avenue.
Okay.
Towards it was a Neptune, but it was not too far from the Monroe basketball courts.
Okay, yeah.
In that area.
Okay.
Which is I grew up a block away from there.
Exactly.
So it really hit me. And yeah, that because like you said, things like that, you know, coming of age in that time, you would often hear of things happening in the bigger cities, New York or Philly or whatever, but not Neptune. You don't have things like that happen in Neptune. And for it to happen so close to home, that's like, whoa, you know, that's like I don't know. It seemed like it was a shift in the air because of that.
That's that, and I'm glad you said that because that's where I was going. It was a shift in the air because of that.
It was definitely a shift. Things did get a little darker, to paraphrase what you said a few minutes ago. Things did get a little darker.
Yeah.
In that area because of that. You know, it was almost like you know what people like to say, the loss of innocence.
Yeah.
It was that. It felt like that, you know?
Yeah. And no one knew who did it. So it still had us a little uneasy, like, you know, this is
and what's so sad about it, like when things like that happen, most of the time that person is amongst us.
Exactly.
Right. And that's just like somebody that's smiling, that's pretending that they, you know what I mean? Like who did it? Most likely one of them people were the ones who committed that, you know what I mean? So
I'm glad they got some closure with that. They did find out who did it. The community, you know, we are our best detectives, and we figured we kind of had a sense, and it came out years later, and they found out. And you right, Pot, the person was amongst us,
right?
real close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they got some closure on that. But I just want to give a glimpse into how close two cities could be, and things can happen, but it can affect everybody. So we were kind of like one big family. I want to talk about our hip hop journey, because a lot of people, and I feel like we have to talk about this. St. Peter's Claver. You remember those white and black flyers that used to go around with all the hip hop acts from the city?
Yep.
These are acts that today people would not believe that we saw them in their infancy before they got big.
Right.
They came to our spot. Like Jersey was the spot they came to, and we saw them in their infancy. And it's a long list of them.
I wonder who has
anybody want to run it down.
Then it went to the roller rink. That's where I first started to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I could run it down. I mean, and everybody from BDP,
Jungle
Eric
Brothers.
and Rakim, Jungle Brothers, the whole Juice Crew. First of all, I'm going to say the biggest holidays for these events were Easter, Memorial Day, and Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
And any given time, you would have, like I said, anyone from Eric Van Rakim, Ultramagnetic, Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, the whole entire Juice Crew, MC Light, Salt and Pepper. I mean, these are icons.
Public Enemy, don't forget them. They came too.
Damn, they did.
PE,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
PE came.
Damn.
And we got to see them young in their prime.
Yep.
Right when these iconic albums came out. That whole year of 88, you know, Cheek, 88 is known as an iconic year for hip hop albums.
It is.
Every time when those albums dropped, they came to us.
Yep.
And we were fortunate and blessed enough. And our folks let us go because our folks understood the culture. They understood, like, oh, this is their culture. They need to experience that. Oh my God. I do have some of those posters.
I wish I'd collected them.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was just, what can you say about that? Dwayne just said our lives are a hip hop track, and it is.
It is.
It
and
is.
People needs to understand that these artists came to our small, tight-knit city.
Yes.
And put in that work in the beginning of their careers. And we saw them super young.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember meeting KRS-One and Scott LaRock. This was like right before Scott LaRock passed. I met them. St. Peter's Glazer. Yeah.
See what I'm talking.
Damn.
Remember MC Light? She was at the skating ring.
And somebody got jumped because they were an Antoinette fan.
Yeah.
Right in front of my face. Because you know MC Light and Antoinette had that little. So somebody said, somebody said Antoinette, and she got jumped for that right in front of my face. How hip hop is that?
That's us. Yeah,
That's
man.
us.
MC Light. You know? I remember Audio 2.
I remember Audio 2.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
Heavy D and the boys.
Heavy D. Yup.
Oh my God, I used to love them.
Man?
I wonder who was putting those shows on. Like, who was the promoter?
Dorothea Cradle, her father.
Really?
Yes, sir. And they all had Jerry curls at the time too, so they reminded us, like, you know, that scene in Coming to America, where the whole family had the Jerry curl and they got up, and that's how they were, because Dorothea always had her parties. You remember, Cheek?
Yeah.
So remember, they all had Jerry curl. Yeah, they all had the Jerry curls. The parents, her little brother, I forgot his name. He had the Jerry curl. Oh yeah, it was like Soul Glow.
That was classic. I wonder if they realized what they was doing at the time. Probably not.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
And nobody ever talks about that.
No,
nobody talks about that.
Nah, no, but you'll have like a video music box documentary. Like there's documented like historical, cultural important things in hip hop. But who would have thought that little Neptune? How big is that place? St. Pete's. It's super small.
It's like a high school gym.
Yeah.
That was my church. So
those years, they blew up to become stars. They started right there.
That's bananas. Yeah, looking at it that way. Yeah,
we saw it. We were there, man.
Them little flyers start circulating through the community, man. It was like, you going?
It was over.
I remember that.
I hated my life then because my parents couldn't understand what kind of music I was listening to and where I came about this music. And it was like, so those parties would come up and I was never allowed to go.
They were really religious?
My friends,
Were they super religious, your parents?
No.
Oh.
They were just super strict. Like, you know,
Mm.
us coming from like private school and then going to public school and listening to, you know, rap music and all of that stuff. It was just like a whole different thing for them. So
Oh, so you came from a private school. That's why you said it was a culture shock.
yeah, I was terrified of. I got to Neptune and I was like terrified of black people because I never saw so many in one setting. Like, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
It still boggles my mind when I hear that, because I'm like, we were that deep.
No, but it's crazy. Like I tell people sometimes, like I'll say, like I could totally understand how you might have, like, you know, like white people uncomfortable in a setting like where there's a lot of black people, because I never looked at color, so it wasn't really like it was never like really discussed. So it wasn't like you're black, this person's white, whatever. We just did us until they pulled me out of where I was used to and put me in Neptune, and I was like, wow, like, oh my gosh. I'd see like one or two white people, you know, and the rest were us, and I was like terrified. But that just goes to show, like, you know how like you train animals, you get it's true. Like you get, like, if you raise a kid and you get them accustomed to, like, and you keep them sheltered, of course, they don't know anything on the outside, like things that they should know or things of importance, then, you know.
So coming from Neptune, right? Did y'all think Neptune was diverse at all? Because you all grew up all the way in Neptune, right? Like your whole schooling.
Who wants to go? I'll go. Yeah, it was pretty diverse, but you know, our white counterparts never really hung with us. You know, we always knew that they were going to be in their community. Maybe there was always a hand. It was always a few that would come into our community, but to me it was diverse when we were in school. But when we were out of school, they were in their own communities.
Yeah,
most of them. I will say there were a couple of them that were actively hanging with us, but yeah, it was pretty diverse for the most part.
All I remember is James when you say that, James.
who's James?
I think Neptune was diverse.
Neptune.
Like I think it. I really
Remember
think
James
that
and Sister Mary? I'm sorry.
Crazy, funny, man. You crazy.
Yeah.
No, I think Neptune was diverse, like in a sense, because of me coming from this private, like that all white private school. You know what I mean? Like, and then going to Neptune, it was diverse. Like, you know what I mean? It was.
Yeah.
Everybody wasn't the same. It was, you know what I mean? Like it was diverse. It was diverse.
But let me just say, thank God for Miss Butler. Good Lord.
Yeah. I think depending on.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
I remember Miss Butler used to. I don't remember where. I don't know if it was a lunchroom or, and everybody would be gathered around Miss Butler and listening. Let me not say I wish, because it probably would have changed the whole dynamic of what's going on here now. However, at that time, I don't even think I was mature enough or understood anything enough to know what was being discussed. And everybody was like intrigued. Like some of the young ladies, like she was just talking and, you know, like not, but just like groups, guys, females.
Miss Butler would
everybody
always
like
give
intrigued.
you food that was knowledge, always. Like, she's never really gonna waste time with frivolous conversation. She's always gonna give she's gonna give you something that's important that you need. That she was programmed like that. If you're gonna have a conversation, she's gonna impart some wisdom. That was it.
And here's the thing about that: we were always eager to accept that. And it felt so good going into her house. Yeah. You know, we see her all day in school, but she, at the same time, she would welcome us into her home. You know, her son was our brother, so it's like, of course, we're going to go over there anyway. but she never stopped giving knowledge. She never stopped being like a second parent to all of us.
Definitely my
You know?
second mother. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Word.
if you ever
Oh my
went to
God.
her house, it was the same way. It was like a village.
Same way. Yes.
And
Yes,
that's
it
how I
was.
took it. Like seeing her, whenever I see her, it's like people were intrigued. Like they just wanted to, you know what I mean? But I never got to experience, or I remember times passing by and just doing my old foolishness, you know, like, and everybody's like so intrigued into what she's talking about. And, you know, like that part I missed out on for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna give a shout out to
Hindsight.
Miss Butler. She was the
Yeah.
community,
Shout
the
out to
community mom, the community. You know, she was
The matriarch.
Yeah.
That's and she always talked to us in a group like young men. She always
That's
did
a
that.
Sisby moms, right? I mean, Sisby moms, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
She
for
would
me,
always
she
put the-
embodies
Go
that.
ahead.
That's my one word for Neptune's Miss Butler.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Remember she organized those after prom brunches?
Yeah.
You know,
We used to have to smoke the turkey on the porch.
Yeah.
The barbecue turkeys.
I remember well, I'm
Yep.
gonna bring that story up later, but if do I think Neptune was diverse? It all depends on where you're okay. It is diverse. But if your beginning is pretty early on, you really didn't pay too much attention to the diversity.
Right.
If you came into it, you would see that it's diverse. But growing up in it from, you know, how me and Dave, you know, where we began, it was normal. It was normal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But is definitely diverse, and each little group respected each other's little group, and we didn't really cause disturbances in each other's ecosystem. We just kind of coexisted, and it was all good. Now back to Miss Butler. Who remember Greek Fest?
Oh my God.
Come on, man. Who can't forget about Greek Fest?
Wow.
Yeah, the Greek Fest. Now, who remembers this? Well, actually, there's two scenarios. Who remembers Greek Fest? I think it was in Belmar, and I was there. I remember we had a situation where some brothers had water guns.
Yep.
And they were kind of being, you know, how we were to the unoriginal folk.
Yes.
And it got out of hand and it created a riot, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember running in a big ass crowd of people towards the train station because we had to get back to Neptune. We're in Belmar. They pushed the crowd, pushed everybody towards where the houses were, and we're running through their community in Belmar where the houses are. But you know how the train runs parallel to the beach, so we got to run towards where the train is to kind of like get back to home.
And that's like 5 blocks away, bro. From
Chico,
the beach.
were you there?
Chico took off.
I didn't take off. That was one of those times when there was a lot of people that kept me in the house. I couldn't participate. And I'm thankful. At the time, I was super angry, but yeah, Miss Butler and some other people was like, stay home. Don't go nowhere near there.
It got crazy. That was the first time in my life where I was literally scared. Reason being, it was so many people, and we weren't in our area. I literally saw a white dude standing at his door. He had a big ass shotgun, waiting for, you know, issues.
Yeah,
and you just had to keep it moving. And I remember who made the front page of the press. The next day.
Yep.
Y'all know who that was?
His foot in the air. About to smash
the window. Yeah. They took a picture of him and he's kicking.
I don't want to. Don't say.
I don't want to put the brother out there, but it was one of our fellow brothers from Neptune, and he was captured, man, on camera, and they put that right on the front page of the newspaper. Like they had us looking crazy out here.
I forgot all about that.
Yo, that was a wild time. That was
I forgot all about that.
Yep. The other situation is, and Chico maybe can add on to this. I remember the Rodney King thing happened, and we had the school walkout. Remember that?
Yeah, we organized that shit.
I was just about to ask you.
Yep.
I can almost, because I wasn't on the inner workings of it, but I can almost tell you that Miss Butler had something to do with organizing that walkout.
Well, she didn't, because she wanted to distance herself from it. She didn't want to mess with her school thing, but she supported it 100%. But what happened was, actually, I was in Miss Turan's homeroom, and we had organized it. Me and Sizwy and Chuck Quinn, and other people. But Miss Turan was crying, like she was crying, bawling, asking us, "Please don't do that. Don't start."
Yeah,
but she was hurt to her soul. But that we felt that we needed to do. Like, again, it wasn't popular opinion, but we decided at a certain point, at a certain time, we was all going to get together and walk out, and that's what we did.
And I'm glad that you brought it up, Dre, because I was going to mention that. Like, that alone was probably one of the most defining memories of me in my high school time, was that walkout. Like, knowing
the internet too, we did that
exactly.
Yeah.
Like that. Now, Cheek, I was, when we walked out, was it after the homeroom bell or before first period?
Now you know remember? I'm old and I smoked a lot of weed, but I don't know. I'm not gonna start lying.
I think it was after.
I think it was right after the homeroom, because that's
that's what I was thinking.
It was right after homeroom. It was powerful.
It was, but most people just went into the window and looked. But for those of us that went out there,
we went out super
powerful. But it wasn't it wasn't in vain, because we had to go to board meetings. It turned into an actual thing. We started a Black Student Union. We had to. Chuck's father was like helping us represent in like adult environments and in council meetings and stuff like that. So it was actually a great experience.
Shout out to Miss Wise too.
Miss Wise,
good Lord, yeah.
Shout out to Miss Wise. Everybody likes to laugh at Miss Wise nowadays, but Miss Wise,
I never laughed at her.
Right?
Me either.
She's such an iconic part in our history. I mean, hell, she even goes back to the days of Springwood Avenue, when Springwood, which ran through Neptune and Asbury, she had a store. She had a beauty shop. Yep. She had a salon on Springwood, and she always said that in her class. She gave us a sense of the town's history at the same time teaching us Black history.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. Like, she would always say, "Yeah, I knew your grandfather. Your grandfather used to play organ." No, she wasn't lying.
She knew them all.
She knew them all. There's this book, and I know I'm getting way off topic, but there's this book that came out about maybe 10 years ago, written by the daughter of the photographer who actually took pictures of Springwood Avenue.
She's in there.
She's in there.
Yep.
Young, a business owner. Yes, she is. She's in there. So she was not lying about that. I was like, wow, I was blown away. I said, we had her for a teacher. And she
Shout out to Miss Wise.
Shout out to Miss Wise, man. Shout out to Miss. She was up in there. And to add on to what you were saying, Chief, who was helping us, the president the Neptune chapter of the NAACP was Mr. West. It was his name.
Yeah, he wasn't that much help, but yeah, he was there too. But somebody's mother. It's like 3 boys. I forget their names. They're a little younger than us. Their mom, Beverly somebody. Dang, I can't remember their name.
Holland.
Holland. Yes, Holland.
Yeah.
Their mother.
And she actually did my notary.
She was part of something, and she was our representative, though. She helped us a lot too.
Damn, that's right. I forgot. Forgot about that.
3 boys. Holland.
Yeah, the Hollands.
Yeah, Bobby Holland,
Bobby, Brian,
Yeah.
and Anthony.
Their mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that was a great a life-changing experience, you know, being able
Oh
to
my
sit
God.
in on those meetings as a student and
Mm.
an angry student at that, and
Yeah.
having them
Angry.
actually listen to us, and like we had to come up with, because they were like, okay, cool, this is what you're doing now. What, like, what, you just gonna stand outside? So Chuck's father, Miss Butler, and
Mhm.
Miss Holland, they helped us to get together and come up with a plan.
Yep.
And the outcome of that plan was the Black Student Union.
Yep. Gives me chills just thinking about it.
Wow.
Man, you need a movie, man. Shit,
Neptune
that's
history.
y'all just told me a movie right now because I wasn't aware of none of this. To be honest with you, man.
Yeah,
No.
bro.
And again, that's why, to be honest, it was for years difficult for me to witness people like stumble upon Afrocentricity and shit like that. Like, because I was doing that shit when I was 15. So it's like me too, maybe the last 10 years to understand that people, you know, everybody's journey is different. Everybody gets to their place at a different
Don't
time.
mute it. Just turn it down.
Right.
Just because, you know, I think I'm
All right,
ahead of
that's
my
okay.
time, that don't negate someone else's journey. But for a long time, I was like bitter, like, damn, now all these people, you know, think it's cool to be Black and Afrocentric and have dreads and, you know,
Yeah.
that shit. But that, you know, I had to realize everybody has their time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This is true. This is true. I want to get into I want to ask the panel another question. You know, what are some of the landmarks you know, around Neptune that were very influential in your Neptune experience? Because we have some places that we frequented, we hung out at, and some of those places are not there anymore. When you go back home,
Yeah.
some of those places are not there, but they are iconic. And without those places, you know, it kind of throws a monkey wrench in, you know, a very vivid picture that we can create when explaining where we come from. Like B Park, for instance, pivotal building, people place, you know, all the schools in our area, you know, they came there. It was an experience. B Park was a place, and it was down the street from my house, down the street from Miss Butler house. Sis, not Sis, but Chico, where did you live at? Around 9th?
No, I live up the hill.
Oh, you lived up the hill?
Yeah.
It was like you was from B Park, because every time I came down the street, you was in the neighborhood.
I basically lived at Miss Butler's house.
Oh, okay. Well, you was from the neighborhood then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did that work when y'all was in like middle school? It was just y'all, or kids from other schools came there too, to People Place?
From other schools, they would bus them in, and you had kids who actually went to B Park, and then you had, you know, People Place was like upstairs, and the kids would come in on buses, and they would have different days that they would come. And if you remember People Place, there were different countries that you know go to and have that experience. I remember eating some coconut and raisin rice, or I forget what country I was in, but that was part of my experience, because you got to taste the food, see the clothes, the culture, the art. You know, they don't have stuff like that no more.
Yeah, we also got to learn to cook that stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
And make clothes of that culture. You know, whether it's Irish, Mexican, Italian, African, it didn't matter. We would be immersed in that culture for the day.
Exactly.
And we got to learn the ways and the inner workings of how their culture worked, from the language. Yep, Dwayne Stewart. Yep,
Damn,
Chinese food.
Cook.
Exactly. Yes, we cooked. We cooked. We learned the songs.
Yeah,
we learned
the language. Yeah,
everything.
And you would see kids.
Things...
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say those are the things that I think at that time, like, I don't regret anything, but those are the things that I think at that time I wish I knew, because like growing up with Haitian parents, or like if you growing up with Haitian parents, it's like majority of the people like people that I was around didn't even know that I was Haitian. You know what I'm saying? or no, because like that was like a shameful thing for me. Like even to hear my parents speaking, like they would speak to me and I would respond in English because I didn't want anybody to, because you would get teased and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But if I was around people that like embraced other cultures,
Yeah.
I think at that time I would have probably been like, now I could care less because, you know, the time that we're in technically, like, but to be African, Jamaican, Haitian, those things at that time was not like the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people didn't even know what Haitians were, you know, like it's like Haitian, like what is that, you know?
I'm gonna go back to some Neptune shit. The most we got out of anything about Haitian was probably gonna be a joke or a crack.
I'm about to say that too, dog. That's why I want to say nothing. Exactly. I was like, Haitian they had a bad rep from our perspective when we was young, though.
So I can understand why you would say that, because it would be like, you know, why you dress like a Haitian, you know, stuff like that. And that's like wearing church shoes with sweatpants. It's something goofy, you know.
Right. Exactly.
But they ain't care about the way they look for show. For real, man. No. They ain't no fashion. They ain't care about that. Like they was on, you know, they were straight up on a mission.
But now it's like crazy because like everybody's so proud of where, I mean, not that you're not supposed to be proud of where you come from, but at that time it was different. Like when, you know, it was different. Like, so we didn't want Sabrina, we didn't want anybody to know we were Haitian. Nobody.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, because like, you know, it was like people weren't nice. Like
it was a different time.
Nice. Yeah, man.
Wasn't Belford Haitian too?
Huh?
Wasn't Belford Haitian too?
Yeah.
Belford,
Dwayne said Stanley James.
Frederick.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep.
So I see what you're saying, Joanne. It's like, don't let nobody know you Haitian.
Yeah, it was. I think Jamaicans. It was a little different for Jamaicans, but Haitians,
they music got them in.
Yeah.
Their music got them in, dog. They kind of slithered in with that.
But on the low, it was
Haitian and African. That was Haitian, like, you know.
There was this misconception that Haitians was like soft, like because the Jamaican would step to you. Africans and Haitians, it was like, oh, we could talk about them because they soft, which is not true.
It's not true at all. It's just, you look now like African, like to, you know, back in the day it was like, oh, you African. Now it's like, oh, you African, like, you know what I mean?
It's sad that you talk to hate other people like that, like just like we didn't accept nobody, man, from anywhere you came, yo. You know what I mean? It just wasn't no acceptance, man. Like,
but I tell you something,
it's weird how we were taught that way. Not taught, but our culture was more like, you look at the person that's just like you and hate them for
right, and that's
some strange ass hate, bro. The hate.
That's one thing coming from a different environment, like a different like schooling and all of that stuff. Like that's one thing I could never understand. Like you look like me, you know what I'm saying? You're Jamaican, I'm Haitian, or you're African, I'm Haitian. Or you Black American and I'm Haitian, and you can't stand me because of, and we look the same. Like I could never understand that.
Yeah, but that that works both ways though, because us trying to be like, you know, we was all Afrocentric and all that. We just wanted to be closer to Africa, so we leaned into like Africans, like, you know, that was the thing. But it works both ways because Africans didn't fuck with us neither.
That's
like,
very
we
true.
always call ourselves, you know, wanting to get closer to the motherland and
that's
all this African shit, and then they look at you like
Westerner.
The fuck are you doing, Westerner?
Yeah, but but you know, when they came though, people, they showed dedication to what they had to do though. They were more like they took care of the business they needed to do. They weren't under that spell of materialistic things and all that stuff. You know, they were living in a whole different world when they was there. More survival.
They were, but they were under the spell that all these Black Americans are lazy and don't fuck with them. Just go do your work and come on.
That's right. That's right. And that's how they looked at us.
Right.
And that,
Yeah.
I'm
The
telling you,
ones that went to school with us, that's how they looked at us.
growing
And
up,
that was the energy, and that was always the energy that was projected to us. Like they
Right.
looked down
growing up
on us.
with Haitian parents,
Y'all
like,
motherfuckers struggled to get to this country. I never understood that mentality though. That they all
growing
they
up
had.
with island parents, it definitely was that, like, you know, like that was like the
Yeah.
stereotype for Black Americans,
Yeah.
like that.
It was true though. I mean, to a
They were
certain extent, man,
lazy and,
you know, it
you
was
know,
at
this
that
and
moment.
that and whatever have you. Like, so
It wasn't
like
true.
the
It was kind of
whole.
true. But Dave, what you got to understand was that wasn't by mistake. That was by plan. That was
Yeah,
very
true.
divisive. They were we were taught, you know, African booty scratcher and Haitians wear 1,000 colors.
Yeah,
The same
true.
way Africans are taught, don't mess
Right.
with Black people because they're a bunch of lazy.
Right.
They don't take advantage of their
Right.
opportunity. But
Right.
that's by
Right.
design. That's not on us.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's a
Like-
means of division.
We were more
Like,
materialistic
you know-
though, man. You know, Black Americans was like more raised in a materialistic scene. We were more
And that's
like
why, like,
distracted.
growing up, that's why, like, it would be like coming from a Haitian household, it would be like, you know, Haitian, my Haitian parents or Haitian people would like work 1 or 2 jobs if they had to, penny
Right.
pinch, save up, get a big house, do this, do that, do certain things for, and then, you know, then the idea was that Black Americans would, you know, get their paycheck and spend it and have
Right.
nothing to pay their bills, and you know what I mean? Like, it was like a whole.
And you know what? To a certain degree, most of us was kind of on that level though. Like, you know, like a certain percentage. It kind of fit the label though, like because most of us did just, you know, we were kind of stuck in that game, you know.
That's not true.
No.
Because we didn't know nothing else.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
That's
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say though. I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, but that's how we were groomed
Right.
to be. You know what I mean? So it's like you know, we were more mesmerized by the, you know, by the big scene. So it made us kind of want to be big without climbing the ladder to get there. You know what I mean? It's like we always wanted to be fly to the top and not experience the hardship to get to the top. We always wanted the elevator to get there. You know what I mean? So it's like
Also, we all had our own hardships, but I think it's important to understand that our hardships are not the same as a foreigner's hardships. Like our hardships is like, you know, we don't got nothing to eat today. The lights got cut off, right? But some people is like trying to live,
right?
So that's why
shot.
So
that's why like some of the foreigners will come here and take off, like because it's like opportunities, like the opportunities here, they take it as like we take these things. I mean, I was born here, so I could see both, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the opportunities that we have here, we take for granted. Like when they like are praying for an opportunity or a chance to be in the shoes that we're in here. And that's why they get here.
But there's still a catch to that too, though, because your opportunities were better than our opportunities, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a little different because we were more ownership. They owned us, so we were basically groomed to be slaves here. You know what I mean? So we didn't have. Like,
what happened to Drake?
Yeah, where Drake go?
Okay, hold on. So let's get back on topic about
all right
places. What other place? What about the Neptune courts at the high school basketball?
You know what I
Gully
remember?
Road.
Oh, Gully Road. Yes.
Oh, Gully Road.
That's even better. Good one. You got that. The Duncan courts.
The Duncan courts.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
All right, I'm back. Yeah.
Damn, Gully Road.
Gully Road, yeah.
Wow.
You took it way back.
When brothers
landmarks.
When brothers started driving, that's where they would go. Gully Road.
Gully Road.
Yeah, we was on bikes.
On bike, yeah.
Whole segment, dang.
Or actually, to be honest, we would get a ride there and steal a bike to get home.
I didn't.
I know. I'm just saying, probably. Now yeah. Oh, never mind. We still talking.
Yeah, but that's still to this day why I would never buy a bike. I would never buy a bike.
Yeah, a bike was short. Your bike life was short lived by you. You know, growing up. Well, cats are still a bike at the drop of a hat, man. That wasn't nothing.
Let me tell you, I was on. I
I
lived on
had at
Myrtle
least 2
Avenue.
bikes stolen from me.
I remember like it was yesterday because the bike cost $400. It was a red line. It was a
See,
custom
that's
red
what you
line. It was white and pink. I had these pink racing. They was bald like motorcycle tires. I said that shit on my back
Wow.
porch, and this kid from Asbury, he would come knock on my door every other day. And again, I'm from Ocean. Like I didn't know. I'm not hip to how shit go. He would knock on my door every day, but he was knocking to see who was home. So I would answer like, nah, what? No, he would ask for some random name. I'd be like, they don't live here. The one day I wasn't there, he got my bike. And then so he was so slick, he just went around the corner and painted the shit black. Like he didn't change none of the parts or nothing. He just painted it black, spray painted it black. So bikes was rough.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Ridge Ave course.
Yo, Pot.
Somebody else still. Yo, the bikes go around the hood like, you know what I mean? Like the thief don't hold on it long enough. You know what I mean? He'll lose it too in like a couple of days. Somebody stole from his ass. So it was always like that.
I got
I
a bike.
remember one
I got a.
Christmas-
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
One
Jay.
Christmas, my father bought seven. My dad bought 7 bikes because it was 7 kids, of course, and one by one, those bikes disappeared. And this was up the hill, like one by one, them bikes disappeared.
Hey man, I got a bike stolen in front of the West Side Community Center. So.
Oh damn! You should know that was going
That's on the that's like being in 2 places at one time. That's on the Ave. Well, not on the Ave, but damn near.
Yeah. It is the Ave practically.
Ridge Course was one of them places where you had to be like, you know how you pick teams and shit like that? When we was younger, I would always go with my little cousin, and you had to have something. You had to dribble, you had to pass, you had to have something special about you to make the team. And it was always like, you was always happy as hell when you got picked up at Ridge. Because, you know, it was always the UNBs playing.
That's their turf. Wow,
like, I'll pick Chico. He got that jumper from the left. Come on, man. He used to be happy as hell to get on the team.
Yep.
Yo, Pop, hook your phone to the Wi-Fi. Could you hear me? Yeah, hook your phone to the Wi-Fi. But nah, let's speak on that right quick. The UNBs and the DBBs, as well, I was never really involved, but they were a iconic, aspect of our upbringing.
Yep.
Because they played a major part in our social order to a degree. And a lot of the brothers that we knew were part of these social groups / gangs, whatever you want to call them. But they are iconic, in their own right, because growing up, these groups were who they were, and things happened because of these groups. And, they're worth mentioning, UNBs and DBBs.
And the PIEs.
And the PIEs,
the HBOs.
That was before us, but
80s, the HBOs,
the Kaziks.
They're still around. The Kaziks are still around.
What I've noticed is the Kaziks have basically swallowed up all of those, the DBBs, the UNBs. Like if you look now, they're a community organization filled with HBOs, DBBs, UNBs. Like they're all, it's not a gang no more. It's a community organization.
It's a community.
It swallowed up all those gangs. That shit is so sweet to me.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
They just had something last week, but they have this annual thing that they do on Easter Sunday. I think for the community, for the kids, or what.
Yeah.
They sponsor bus rides, and they have this big thing that they go to North Carolina. This is all fundraisers for the community.
That's so nice.
It's a real dope thing to see, man.
Yeah,
it's
that's
real
really
dope.
nice.
As cool as that is, my introduction to Neptune, I went to a basketball game. And do y'all remember after the basketball games, everybody would go to McDonald's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that was after a lot of games.
This was my first basketball game. I think I lived in Ocean Township. But I I'm not gonna name them, but I saw the Kaziks beating the shit out of people, just snatching people out of McDonald's. Like, so to your point, Joanne, that was terrifying to me. I was like, I'm not trying to go to this school if this is how they act. That shit scared me. That was my introduction to the Kaziks. They was mopping people in McDonald's.
And then it didn't help that the stuff, like, you already had things that you heard prior to going to the school, or like I was just thrown in, like I had no idea. I was just clueless, like, but in some instances, even being in the school, like, you might hear about the UMBs or the, you know, PIEs or whatever, and automatically it's like, oh my goodness, like, you know what I mean? Just the idea of getting jumped or something like that, it was like, oh my gosh, like,
that was,
you know,
that was a thing, getting jumped. Such and such got jumped. You know, that was the news. You know, such and such got jumped. You know,
the news.
And UMB is unique Neptune brothers.
Right.
DBBs is
devastating.
That's devastating black brothers. PIEs is posse in effect. That was the females. HBOs was the homeboys only.
Homeboys only.
We had another one.
Oh, I never knew that.
Then you had the gods and the earths, of course.
Gods and the earths.
It seemed like the gods were always fighting the UMBs. It seemed like it was like lions versus hyenas. They were always clashing for some reason. It was always the gods versus the UMBs for some reason.
I think that's because a lot of the gods were older brothers to a lot of the UMBs, and it's just personal differences and stuff like that. You know, clans sticking together, whatever. And then let's give a shout out to the gods and earths, because they are also a pivotal part in our upbringing, the 5% Nation.
Yes, they are.
And you gotta tip your hat to them, because they were a part of that cultural thing, that cultural melting pot that we were subjected to.
They were the most important part to me.
Yeah.
So learning about certain things by default. You know, don't eat a blow pop. It got pork in it. Don't eat the Jello.
Jello number 5.
You know,
don't eat it Twinkie.
Yeah. So we got lessons by default, and you know, now you appreciate those things because you got taught, and not realizing that you're getting a higher level of awareness when it comes to, you know, who you are as a person of color.
Right.
And that was important. We had the Nation of Islam here and there.
You couldn't call them by name either. You had to call them by their name.
Yeah. There was rules. There was rules to this thing.
You couldn't call them. You couldn't call them the government name, dog. That was an insult, like a motherfucker, dog.
I've seen fights transpire from that too. Don't call me that. That's not my name. And you know, boom.
Yeah. That's why I said you can't even do that.
And that's part of the story. Little intricate things like that. But it as small as it may seem, it was big. It was big. After school fights, that was a big deal.
It was.
You know, just pray you were never the person who was going to be involved. But I'm just saying, you know, after school fights was like the thing. I was going to fight. Everybody would just congregate, and it would just be one big crowd, and it was a big deal.
I think them after school fights, like, I think, like, for me, where it was like a big deal would be like anytime I would hear like Monica Rush is gonna fight, I'd be like, oh
yeah. Shout out to Monica Rush, rest in peace.
Monica Rush.
Yo, if you think about it though, we've had some really crazy fights, man. We've seen somebody get the teeth knocked out. We've seen I saw one of the illest displays of brotherhood. I know you shouldn't say that with violence, but these two brothers that weren't from here, they came from Brooklyn, and it was about 20 kids that wanted to fight them. And they went outside right in front of the band room, and they stood back to back with black gloves on and fought everybody. I've never seen no shit like that. We really lived the movie, man. Like if you try to tell somebody that story, y'all know who I'm talking about?
I know who he's talking about.
And that's when I saw Raymond Handy. That was one of his displays of inhuman strength. He was
Mhm.
just
What's
grabbing
up
him.
with him, man? What's up with Raymond? Oh, my bad. What's
On
up
one
with
hand,
him?
get off of him. Get off of him.
Yep.
Never,
He was known for that though. He was
Yeah.
he was like the enforcer in a sense.
he
you
really
know?
was. He was the great mediator.
Right.
Yep.
Oh man.
He was.
Shout
Where
out to
he
Raymond
at, man?
Handy.
Where the hell is
Yeah.
Raymond Handy?
Cooking
Handy.
somewhere.
He's a
Chef or something.
he's a chef. I think he
Where
moved
at?
back into the area.
I don't know.
I think he
I don't
I think he's in South Jersey somewhere. Because at first he moved to Arizona, then he came back.
Would you classify the football field as a iconic spot?
Hell yeah. All them games he
Yeah.
had against Asbury.
Yeah.
I mean, hell
Yeah.
yeah. That's a big part of it
Well,
right
it is for me
there.
and you,
Yeah.
Dave. For me and you,
Huh?
Dave, it definitely is.
Oh yeah. I know where you're
Because of
going.
the drum line.
It's
I remember some of them games up the hill, man. I remember going behind the bleachers, I mean, all that stuff, you know?
we were kings, Cheek. We owned that field. Well, once the playing stopped and it was our time to get on stage, that was it. So
we definitely used to attribute a lot of their wins to us.
The band.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it worked for us.
We put that energy out.
Uh-huh.
Yo, man, that's a lot of fights, yo. That's not a lot of fights, man.
It was the battery in the backpack.
Yeah, that was fighting music, man. To add, dog. That was fighting music, man.
We actually had like band beef with the Asbury drummers.
We did. We
Yeah.
did.
Crazy.
We did. But out of that came brothers. We had brothers with them too now.
Yeah.
You know?
That's classic. That's classic.
Yo, man, those are the good old
Wayne, you
days, man. Just talking about that shit, baby, like get shivers a little bit, man. We had real snowstorms. We had everything. We had, man, holidays. We had spirit. Technology done messed the world up, dog. It's like there ain't no spirit anymore. It took the place of spirit, man.
Speaking of holidays, what about the holiday jubilees?
Oh, yeah.
That's when it started to go downhill for me. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
Damn.
The Jubilees.
Oh.
Jubilees was sweet. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned earlier about the different sections of our city and how that played a part in how we moved. You had those who were, I think it was Dwayne, how we had those who lived down the hill,
Right.
those who lived up the hill, and up the hill was associated with those who were economically kind of, doing good. If you lived down the hill, you was
Bougie.
the
You would
struggle
get
was
it,
real.
Right.
Yo, man. Yo, we
Because
were
we
the
were
scum
close
of
to
the
Asbury.
town.
Right.
Yeah, we were the scum.
Yep.
But it was such a it was such a real thing, even down to the dudes and the chicks you would want to talk to. That up the hill, down the hill thing, if it is a thing, but it was a thing, played a part in that,
Mm-hmm.
And you had people from up the hill would be like, they really don't, you talk to such and such down the hill. That was a no-no.
Right.
Like they had an extra
It's
layer
all-
of dirt on them or something.
Right. It's almost like they had to sneak. They had to sneak away. They had to keep that on the low.
Right.
Like
Yeah, down the hill.
It was a self-imposed. It was a self-imposed prison because, realistically speaking, people from down the hill and people from up the hill really wanted to fuck with each other, and we did fuck with each other. But you said, they didn't want nobody to know about that.
about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
But you know what? I for the most part, I never felt that. I felt like if you were on a bike, or if you drove a car, you went up the hill or down the hill, you were accepted either way because it was all one family.
Yeah.
Go up
You had money, dog.
Really?
Down the hill, man. We didn't have nothing, man. We was welfare kids down the hill, man. We had different lifestyle.
I didn't feel that. I felt
Dave.
that,
It was a little,
like
they own it.
I don't want to call names, but there were people, they had a certain mentality because they were from up the hill.
Yeah,
they kind of they dealt with us differently
They
because
moved
they
it.
were from up the hill. And I don't want to call no
It's like
names.
Hoosiers and the Greasers, man. That's how it was, man. The Hoosiers and the Greasers, dog. That's basically how it was, man.
I
Damn, you talking
realized
in
it was
terms
a
of
thing.
grease?
I
So we
realized
were
it was a
Greasers,
thing.
man.
We were greasers.
too bad.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Yo, man, yeah, but the Hoosiers was all college boys, rich, rich white boys versus the others. You know what I mean? That's basically what it was.
Wow.
But we had that going on. That was a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be highlighted. We had that social dynamic
And-
going on.
But we all saw everybody from up the hill was down the hill.
Always.
Yeah.
You can't front
Like,
about that.
Because they
going
knew
down
where
the hill
they knew
and-
where it was
and-
popping at. They knew ultimately where it was popping at.
Riding
Right.
down the Ave, like for me and Sabrina, we were like, oh yeah, let's go for a ride, and
Hell yeah.
ride down Lake Avenue or wherever around Neptune, like down the hill. That's where we would always.
The dopes, the
doubt it
pushes,
was,
the addicts, everybody.
You will party down the hill, but then you would sneak up the hill to see a girl.
Exactly. That's where the top tier, you go
Yeah.
up there. You get a girl from up the hill, you doing something, man.
Right.
Those we think.
Yeah, you're right, though. You're right.
Wow. Yeah,
She
right.
live up
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hill.
Yeah. Oh, you got to up the hill, girl.
Right.
Can I go? Can I go with you? You got
Yup.
a sister?
Oh my god. My homeboy, rest in peace, Darnell, man. Glisten.
True, man. That's my boy.
Darnell
right there.
used to walk up the hill just to entertain a female. And
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that, but shout out to Darnell, man.
Did the
That's
same
my
thing.
dude.
Darnell Glisten is
Yep.
not with us.
Nah.
I
Wow.
was just saying to myself, like, wait,
Yeah, he died several years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of years ago. That's what, like what, 6 or 7 years ago?
And
Yeah.
his cousin, and his cousin Gerald.
And Gerald.
Listen.
Yeah, I know Gerald.
Gerald died
Yeah.
too. Oh yeah, he did with the COVID shit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we
That's the
lost some
shit
greatness,
that
man.
really bothers me, man. Like there's so many people that I guess we was really close, man. Even though we had our different sections and everybody stuck with this one and we lived, up the hill, down the hill, but on the whole, we was really close. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're really close.
Like when you hear somebody from our community pass away these days, it hurts. It hurts. It's almost like a national tragedy because and it makes you realize, wow, Neptune people are really a tight knit bunch.
We are.
Like it is really truly a family.
I gotta
I
say
feel
something
like-
to say though.
I
Yeah.
feel like our like my patients, the ones that look at the obituaries, like not being funny, but we're heading towards that age where it's like, oh, such and such died, or you know what I mean? Like listening to us now, it's like that. Yeah, does that make sense?
Well,
Does that
the
make
sad
sense
thing
what
is that
I'm
you're
saying?
not that old, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
I was
Yeah.
about to say that.
that's sad.
Yeah.
But I
Not
guess that's
the
why we all
ARP
love
yet.
our 80s movies. Man. We love our 80s and 90s movies, man. You know what I mean?
That's
Those
true.
movies will always be a root to us, man. Those movies are very
Mhm.
important to us. Even the cars, everything from our dimension, it
Yep.
must be cherished and always be we're to this day we'll always choose for. Okay, let me explain. A dude yesterday had an Acura Legend, dog. You know what I mean? It was kind of clean, you know what I mean? And I'm just looking at that joint, dog. Like I was back in the 90s when they first made them cats. You know what I mean?
Those are
So I'm
classics.
like,
I don't see those no more. Those are classics
Me
though. But that's
either.
that's
that's what I'm
90s.
saying, dog. He had a red Acura Legend, dog. It was nice, man. You know what I mean? It was clean and everything. I'm like, damn, I'd do anything to get that car right now, man. It's still a sexy car to me, man. I love that car, man. So
Mhm.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is monumental. You know what I mean? All that
Right.
stuff.
It fits
The
into our time. Those cars. Remember the Jettas? Everybody used to drive
Yep.
the Jettas.
Yep.
They had
Yeah,
the,
with
the
the
words
tires
on the
sticking out
bottom.
the side.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah, everybody had
Yeah, yeah.
words on the side of their car.
Yeah, chrome, right? They had the chrome, like it was like the chrome, like the chrome plate going around with the name on it. It
Yeah.
had like a chrome, not a chrome plate, but a sticker.
You got to
You remember
chill.
Aaron and Darren when they had the Hyundai, souped up Hyundai? You remember that? The twins when they had that.
Oh my
I
god.
think the most iconic person
Twins.
from our area, car wise, was Dumar.
Dumar, yeah.
Dude,
Oh yes.
They used to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
all the pictures in my house.
Shout out to
This nigga
Dumar.
Yo,
Dumar,
man,
wow.
he put emblems. He put emblems on a Ford pickup or a Shell. I mean, what kind? They turned
man.
these niggas was taking pickups and
Mercedes-Benz
transforming them into
logo.
Mercedes Benz
Yeah.
trucks, dog.
They had the kit on them and they had the light underneath the bottom.
Yo,
Yep.
there was 3 of them. It was MC, Dumar, and somebody else. And they used
Yeah.
to turn
Was it
to
Manson?
the
Nah,
same.
it wasn't Manson.
No, it was. I think it was the white guy, white dude.
Oh yeah.
Billy.
He was cool with Dumar. I forget his name.
They
Mike?
used to tune their shit to the same
I
radio
remember.
station and just drive through Neptune Asbury, rattling houses.
And that was accepted, man. And it wasn't even like, yo, but the thing is, Dumar's shit wasn't it wasn't a Mercedes truck though, but it was
Hell no.
accepted as one.
That shit was dope,
Right.
man.
hell
That
yeah,
shit was
that's
dope.
Crazy.
No, I'm just saying, but think about it. Come on, man. Be real. If you did that today, if a cat tried to take a regular pickup and then put Mercedes emblems on it, niggas would be like, man, get the fuck out of here, dog. That's what I'm saying. Back in the day was different, man.
It was innovative, and he
Yeah.
was doing that when nobody was. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
Right.
Right.
So it was
It's
iconic.
just
Like
the emblems, man.
it was a good thing just to see him come down your block in that fucking truck, man.
Yeah, true indeed. That truck will always be a staple. He made history around him with that shit. That's a staple for us, man. Them trucks, them pickups, man.
Mhm.
And see, nobody
Yo, they-
talks about that, but Dumar in that truck is a fucking icon, man. It's iconic.
Yeah, Dumar definitely had. Yeah,
And then he'll take it to Nonstop and park it.
Yep.
Everybody at Nonstop. Let's talk about Nonstop.
Can we talk about Mel?
Yeah.
You talk about those. We used to roll in packs at night. We always ended up at Mel's at 9.
Mel's.
Exactly.
I always
Mel's
used to think
chicken.
the twins look like the dudes from the Whispers.
They do. Mel's chicken in the Chinese spot right there. Yeah,
Yep.
Nonstop is another landmark. Even though it's
Oh
not
my
happening,
God.
but still.
Nonstop started
there.
good and ended, and now it's, you know what I mean. But Nonstop was the spot though. Nonstop was like
That
It
really
was the spot,
yeah.
especially
That was
especially in the summertime. Especially in the summertime.
Started getting
Mel's
dangerous
chicken,
out there.
man. Mel's chicken was off the chain.
Mel's
That was
chicken
about-
was on point.
Yeah.
The 6-piece wings, shit.
That was on a whole nother level.
It sure was.
Yo, man, it's funny because that was iconic too, man. Chicken was like God, dog.
Yep, chicken wings.
We used to take that hike every weekend, right from Miss Butler's house.
Yep,
Gosh.
to go to Mel's.
Mel's chicken.
Oh, chicken.
Speaking of
I was
chicken,
always, but man, I was Chinese chicken though, man. I was always a Chinese chicken fanatic though, man. I really didn't fuck with nothing else but Chinese chicken because you get a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right though. You're right.
it was low
Yeah.
budget, but they did give you a lot of food, man. Plus, they gave you rice with it in the whole nine.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to go to Chinese food was like really a major part of my teenage years, man. Chinese? Shit. Fucking Chinese food up, man. Africans, whatever we eat, not our food, man. We just straight up Chinese food, man.
Yep.
Chinese was everything to us, man.
So, where was your favorite sub spot?
Tony's, come on, man.
Lord.
Yeah, all of those cats. Yeah, all
Some people say
Oh,
4Gs.
4J's was mine.
4J's.
Mine was Collinswood, man, because you know Collinswood.
yeah, in the bag.
Oh,
But all
Hollywood.
Mine's was Sangs.
I don't know what that is.
Same.
It used to be on the corner of a Fisher and Lake. It's now
Okay.
a senior citizen center
Yep.
now. It was across the street from Vet's Cab.
But I tell you what, though, my
Have a good
secondary because it
They-
was cheap.
they
it was
used to
easy
make the
to get,
dopest
it was
cheesesteaks
convenient.
ever.
Yep, they had good cheesesteaks right there.
Yes, sir.
I used to eat
Yep.
7-Eleven. There's Quick Check. No, Quick Check in Ocean Grove where I used to get most of my subs.
That's kind of like back, but I'm gonna say 4Gs back then. Now, you know, you got to tell them to hold the flies. I don't even fuck with 4Js now. It's a
Ew.
greasy spot right now. I'm straight on that. But I would say Collinswood was pretty dope. 4Js. We can't leave out the iconic spot, Pizza Plus. Not for subs, but just an iconic spot.
Yeah, Pizza Plus is definitely a part of the culture, man. Pizza Plus will always be a part of the culture, man. For real, Pizza Plus.
Yeah, Pizza
That's
Plus.
why you say you can't leave Asbury out, really.
You gotta remember R&R.
No,
Ribs,
you can't.
The Rib Shack.
The Rib Shack
before it was Pizza Plus.
Yeah,
the Rib Shack.
Damn, you smell those ribs burning a mile away.
Like how we have up the hill, down the hill, and you have Neptune. You can't leave Asbury out. Like you can't have Neptune without up the hill or down the hill. You can't have Asbury without Neptune and vice versa.
Exactly. It's one big family.
Yeah.
And we intermingled. Like I said, you can literally throw a rock into another city. Like real talk.
So I got a question for y'all. I know if you had, this is a childish question too. If you had a time to go back, if you just go back for a week in the 80s, I mean, what year would you go back to for that to spend that week?
I have no idea.
If you could just go back in time just to relive a week out of your teenage years.
93.
93.
Very pivotal year.
Yeah.
93.
I don't think I would want to.
Oh shit.
Jay, I'm with you, Jay.
I really don't think I would want to.
I think I'll I wouldn't want to go back. Not to say it wouldn't be a good thing.
That, man. Y'all ain't got no choice. Y'all going back regardless. Y'all niggas going back.
I ain't going back.
You can't escape that shit, man.
Relive some stuff.
It ain't no choice now.
It's
so
profound. It's so profound that, you know, to go back with me knowing everything about it and going back to experience it again. Nah, it'll diminish what I'm holding on to now.
Right, because
man,
and everything else. Like
you can get back in a car, you can suck on your thumb, all that stuff. I remember those days, man. You can experience that one more week.
You wouldn't go back to alternative school? Would you do that?
Hell yeah, dog.
Please don't go back to
that. Chinese food with the principal.
Okay, now look, let me ask y'all a question, right? Because I just had a conversation with my daughter. Go ahead. What is y'all thoughts on alternatives? Well, not really alternative schools, but like special ed in high school, because they call it SPED now, and when I hear that, it's like but they don't associate it with anything negative. You know how we'll say like short bus or rug room or some shit like that, but these kids, when they say SPED, I was like, well, don't do that. Like don't do that. Don't say that. But they don't associate it with anything negative. It's literally short for special education. And I was wondering, like, for my peers, how do you
gotta look that up?
Does everybody have kids?
Yeah, but mine are
Chico,
grown-ups.
Did you see our special ed show?
Yeah, I'm about to say that. That's what I was telling you. You gotta look that up.
He couldn't have seen it.
What special ed? Y'all did a whole show.
We got a whole show on special ed.
We sure did.
I got a grown kid too.
My
son's 26, but my
we still answer that question. We can still answer that question though.
You have a daughter that's 26. You said
my son is 26, but my daughter's 15.
Oh yeah, you have grown ups too.
Yeah, my bad. Well, if you already did a show, forget it. Let's move on.
No.
But what's the question? How do we feel about it?
Well, how do you think that the kids see it as like a negative thing? Because it's not negative anymore. It's like then it was more of a
stigma.
Yeah, it was a stigma
because it was hidden in the basement. Lamar, it was like away from everybody.
I think we were the test projects back then. Like we were like the trial. We were the.
How do you mean we? Y'all was special ed?
Yeah, we had a whole panel. The whole panel of special ed participants.
Yo, Damn, you
My-
talking
my-
to the
my-
breakfast club right now, nigga.
The Resource Breakfast Club. My whole career in special ed, I was in special ed all throughout high school. I didn't. You know, when I see my peers talk about Mr. Herbert and all these teachers, I never had that. I was in special ed. I was on the other side.
Let me stop you right there, because my conversation with my daughter was special ed does not mean slow or dumb or stupid or any of those things. Now, y'all, this is a very good. I'm glad I'm here because I'm gonna take this conversation to my house. It's nothing stupid about none of y'all. Like, there's nothing slow. That's why that shit is fucking me up. That y'all telling me you was in special ed. Like, this is proving my point. How fucked up the education system is. There's nothing.
Now let me add on to that. When we did the show, and I made it perfectly clear that special ed back then, it wasn't about something being wrong with us.
It was disciplinary.
Exactly. We were placed in special ed because the system at that time didn't know what to do with the energetic black child. They didn't know how to teach the energetic black child or keep the attention of the energetic black child. So they created this space, like we were the test subjects for this. We're going to place you in here. There's nothing wrong with us.
No.
Nope.
They even experimented on us with the Ritalin.
Yep.
Yeah, but you get that stigma attached to you just by being associated with that class. That's fucked up. So coming from Ocean Township, real quick, in Ocean Township, the special ed class was autism, kids on the spectrum, damn, I can't say the politically correct words, Down syndrome. Yeah. Like, those were the kids that were in special ed. So for me to come to Neptune and see special, I'm like, there's nothing wrong. Like, what the fuck? Why is this special ed? But it's literally disciplinary kids. Like, they didn't know what to do with hyper black children.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the descriptions that you just named is what special ed is now.
It was then.
Like I was saying,
for us,
when you look in the classes now, you can, and I said this on the show, you can literally look and see that something is not right with that child in special ed.
Right.
You can look at us and we just regular.
That's fucked up.
Right. Yep. Right.
I didn't know about special ed until I dropped grades and I was in special ed. Like, I didn't know a thing about special ed. I didn't even know that was like a thing. Like, you know, like it. For real.
Yeah.
But I was
there. You think you special anyway? When we told me special ed, think you in the special, special shit. We were mutants, man. That's all. We were mutants. We were treated like the mutants, man. There's a school for mutants.
You know how many traumatic experiences that has contributed to with black children being labeled special ed? Like, that's fucked up.
And that's what Andre said, because we had another guest on the panel who was in special ed. And he said he was shocked that we had a nice time in special ed. And he was like, nah, it was traumatic for me. Like, I got picked on, beat up. It was bad.
I'm sitting here running through school like, how did I not know that? Like,
that's how I feel about a lot of stuff that I hear. Like, when we have discussions and stuff, that's how I feel. Like, I just really missed a lot. Like, and I think about like where I was in that space. Like, when I, hear different stories in different parts, and I like go back and think about where I was in that space, and I was like all over the place, just trying to figure myself out. So, like, but
also, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No. I just agree with Chico. Like, where was I for some stuff? So yeah, I understand what you're.
But also in Neptune High, the special ed classes were way on the other side, where nobody could even
they're in the basement, man. They're in the basement.
Right.
You couldn't interact with anybody.
We couldn't socialize.
Yeah.
So they made certain that we wouldn't socialize with our peers in those days.
It's like solitary confinement.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
I had a big stigma. For years, I had a stigma about that. For years. Down by the shop classes. Thank you, Dwayne. Right there. Because I had classes right there. But the blessing for that is, and I said this on the previous show, the teachers that helped me along in those classes, they were all black women.
Yep, Miss
They were
Dean. Miss Dean
all
is my
Miss
favorite. Miss Dean.
Dean, Mrs. Harris. There are quite a few whose names escape me, but they were all black women who always told me, "You don't belong. What are you doing here?
Exactly.
You need to focus more. You need to concentrate. You're much bigger than what you're giving off." So every
My
day
bad.
I would hear this.
I said my bad. I didn't mean to bring the room down. Let's change the subject.
No,
Oh,
no,
nah,
no, no, no,
nah.
no, 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 because it's a part of my icon experience. To be
Yeah,
honest
yeah.
with you,
Right.
Okay.
you
Okay,
know.
good.
So,
Right.
but that's a blessing in itself. Black women molded me and others in that so-called special ed environment. So I'm really,
And while you were
thankful for that.
speaking, I was saying to myself, like, I wonder how many other students I knew who they were, but I didn't get an experience to even say hello to them. You know what I mean? However, like, I wonder how many other students, like, at that time, like, look back now, like, damn, if it wasn't for Miss Harris or Miss Turan or Miss Wise or
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? Like,
That's right. And we're parents now, so we have to look back and thank those ancestors for that. They're a part of our coming of age during that time. It's important and imperative that we thank them. Black women, queens, Miss Butler too. We had queens to rear us while
We had people that really cared. We had people that really cared. It's kind of different than today. They really cared, man, and they get no respect really from the world. I always said that teachers, man, those teachers back in the day, man, they deserve everything, man, because they put their life, their time to try to make our lives better.
Yeah.
Every day they there. Teachers don't get no recognition or nothing. I mean, they not heroes. They none of that stuff, and they the real heroes.
My mom's a teacher, and you're absolutely right. Like, they definitely don't get recognized for. I mean, nurses didn't either at one point until the pandemic. Then all of a sudden, it's thank you for your service, like But
right,
my mom's a teacher, and definitely, like, yeah, that's
their whole life is to educate us. They gotta educate us. They gotta groom a generation. They gotta groom a generation in the hope, everything work out for us. But we were catered to. They catered to us, and they tried to do the best they could do. And it really wasn't all about money then. And that's another thing too. Like, money now, you just get paid. You want to throw them off on an assignment and not even really help them, like whatever.
Yeah, man. A lot of kids, they don't even everything is so digital. Kids don't even carry books like that no more. Like, where your books at, man? Where your books at? Everything is, that's weird. Dwayne said, I think they understood what we should be facing as black men and women in the world and tried their best to try to prepare us for what will be coming. And that's a true statement.
Yeah, that is so
100% true.
That's
Again,
so
back
true.
to like Miss Butler, man. She was a referee, she was a mediator, she was a scholar, she was a father, mother, a therapist, like
everything.
She played every role that you could imagine. So I think Neptune needs to thank her.
Absolutely.
You know who make me feel like when I see Mr. Mr. Chambers is on Facebook, right?
Oh Lord.
And, it just feels good to know that he's still there. You know what I mean? Because Mr. Chambers was a part of the athletic department.
He still.
It's like when he. When he likes my stuff, you know what I mean? It makes me feel, it feels good, man. Like, damn, Mr. Chambers still reading stuff and still in there. So yeah,
I definitely got to give a shout out to Mr. Chambers because he was that dad that what I'm saying, that was he knew how to blend in with us and interact with us, but at the same time know when to be the grown up and to say, hey, Don't do X, Y, and Z. But he always
Exactly.
joked with us. He always laughed with us.
Right.
Mr. Chambers was that guy.
He's
And
also a Neptune
it's
legend
weird
too.
because even though I had Coach Amabil, iconic, as a football coach, ultimately in high school, my coaches are still Mr. Chambers and Coach Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh. I'm about to say you got
Walsh. Yeah.
It was a little bit more intimate, and they cared more. Amabil was like a machine, like win. This is how we gonna win. Execute, and that you got to give him his credit for that. He was good at that. Right. Rest in peace, Coach Amabil. But when it came down to the relationship as a person in my community, as well as my coach, I got to give it to Coach Chambers and Coach Walsh. I don't know where Walsh at, but I still call Coach Chambers Coach. And it feels good to call him Coach. Like I'm still on the football field.
Yep.
And I think the last time we corresponded on Facebook, I asked him what time practice was. He just laughed. He thought it was real funny.
He's also right. He's also an iconic Neptune figure, though. He was like a big track star in his day.
Yeah.
Speaking of track, Mr. Morris.
I still got Miss Dorfman too on there. Anybody got Miss
Morris?
Mr.
Morris.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Morris.
Yeah.
She a Facebook friend too.
Yeah, we should run down the teachers, man. We should run down the teachers. Any teachers y'all want to shout out?
Yeah, I had my first crush, Miss Cornegay. Y'all remember Miss Cornegay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, another introduction to Neptune. Real quick.
I actually like Miss Dorfman. I had a crush on Miss Dorfman. So
my first day in Miss Cornegay's class was two girls fought. Remember, I'm coming from a white school in Danita, something like that. Danita Ellison and Kanisha fought. And that shit bugged me out. But here come Miss Cornegay. She was, I had a crush on her. Shout out to Miss Cornegay.
Miss Cornegay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we all had teacher crushes. For real.
How about bad teachers?
I never.
Mr. Bransley? Y'all remember Mr.
Bransley? I had a bad teacher, really. I know Mr. Clark and Mr. Clark. But they were disciplinaries.
You said Mr. Clark?
Yeah, Mr. Clark and Mr. Yeah.
Mr. Clark was racist as hell.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, we used to debate with him though. He couldn't mess with us though. Like he knew. Like he would say that stupid shit, but like he knew. Like, come on.
Thank you. I hated Mr. Bransley too. Mr. Bransley did some shit. He would do shit like this. Who was it? Marani Dorsey. He was late to class one day and he was like, yo, hold the door for me. And Mr. Bransley stopped class and went to the chalkboard and was like, what is this? And he wrote HO DEDO. He was like, what is ho DEDO? Like he would do shit like that. I hate Mr. Bransley.
Wow.
Damn.
He would do shit like
that.
Yeah.
Stories like that, I heard Monique, she was part of the class of 92 and she talked about how she had Mr. Hubert. And if I remember Mr. Hubert, how evil he was, like he just failed her for no reason. So hearing stories like that, I'm glad I was in special ed because I didn't experience any of that negativity from teachers from the regular school, classes.
Yeah.
Like I hear these stories now. You're like, what? That's crazy.
Who was
really? That was his name.
Who was the little computer literacy lady? She was little.
Oh yeah. What was her name? I know who you're talking about.
She almost looked like one of the little people from the Wizard of Oz. I forget her name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I forgot her name.
I know who you're talking about.
Didn't we have a black principal? Did we have a black female principal at Neptune?
No, you're talking about Mr. Morgan?
No, we had a female principal, right? We had a black principal in Neptune High School.
The only black principal I had was Mr. Morgan. Miss Pinckney, she said.
Oh, yeah. That's her name, Miss Pinckney. Her name sounds little. Miss Pinckney. Yo, she was little.
What did she teach?
She was
Computer
good.
literacy.
It's Pinky.
She was little.
Mm-mm-mm.
Cause she came up to like my shoulder and I'm sitting down.
Yeah, she was really little.
Damn.
She was a cute little lady.
Uh-huh.
Happy. Wow, Miss Pickney. Thanks for that, April. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at that sweet spot mark 149. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciated my panel, man, and the discussion. And like I said before, we have a very rich history, and we can go on for a very long time expounding on our experiences and where we come from. And it's a very rich area. Jersey Shore, Asbury Park, Neptune, New Jersey. I am happy and proud to be, the product of that. And what's up, Mark? Mark Frazier. Mark was supposed to be on the show.
Mark.
What happened,
Hey.
Mark?
What up, Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
What happened?
Come on, Mark. Boo.
Boo!
Boo.
Mark, if you still got the link, go ahead and
on,
link
Mark.
up.
Yo,
But,
how did we find each
bullshit.
other at night, man? We was always walking around at night, and we always ran into each other. That shit was crazy with no phones.
It was cosmic, bro.
Midnight
Yeah.
Marauders? That's just what
Real.
it is.
Yep, it was cosmic.
I used to find Potty in the weirdest places.
Yep.
Oh.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yep.
Mhm.
What you doing here?
Y'all remember high school talent shows, how epic they were?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was like our summer jam. Come on.
You know
And-
what? I'm sorry. Pot asked something earlier, and that would be it. Because I was in chorus for like all through high school, and I was supposed to be in a couple of talent shows, and at the last minute pulled out because I was a big chicken. That is what I would go back to and make sure
talent
that
show?
I would perform and
Oh, okay. Sweet.
So who
sweet,
you
That-
sweet.
that's
so
what I
what
would
you
go
was
back
what you was gonna do? Because back then they had the dance groups.
yeah, we were
debut
gonna
and
Hey,
one
all of these.
year.
You remember them
One
dance
year
groups?
we were dancing.
Heck yeah,
Hell yeah.
debut. Hold on, didn't you win?
I
One
did
year
for
we were
comedy.
dancing.
Yeah, it's
We won
comedy.
too.
Yep.
We won 1 year the drumline.
Drum.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of that. Like
And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was in my David Ruffin bag at the time. I wanted to quit and come back, and
I was in a little singing.
like
Group, like a singing group.
It
I
was.
forgot about that, Jay. I forgot about that.
I was in a little singing group, and we were gonna sing at the talent show, but I was
Who was in the
scared.
group?
It was me. It was what's her name? Tawana and Tanya Neesmith.
Wow. My goodness.
R.I.P. to Tanya, because I think she passed.
Her too.
Damn.
Jesus.
I would go. Oh shit, man! I've spilled crumbs all over my
Tanya,
shit.
Larry was, and Larry was the one, Larry was. I love Larry to death, but Larry was
Larry
the
who?
one directing the group, and we,
Like,
Those dance groups, man, were
Yeah.
like a big
Debut.
deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first time I saw
Debut,
was at the talent show,
yeah.
1990. They were dancing to Poison, and I didn't know those brothers could move like that, doing backflips and splits and sliding all over the place.
that was the thing, man. That was the
Was
thing,
Bentley,
bro.
was
That
Bentley
the-
Turan in debut?
Yeah. Well,
He was.
I-
hold on. Maybe not.
Nah, I thought he had
It was
his own
the rest
group
of
with
them, though.
Divine Austin and them cats.
Yeah, that's they. No, you're right. You're right. You're
Divine
right. It
Austin.
them.
What was the
It
name of their group?
Ricky. It was Lewis
It
Goodman.
was
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
right. Debut.
they,
They had
they
their
was
group.
all they was the pretty boys in that one. I think they was all the pretty boys.
like PBB or some shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Peanut Butter Brothers or some shit.
I
Yeah,
don't know the acronym name, but I remember the acronym.
I remember seeing a picture of that.
They was sweet too. They was like debuts competition. It was them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They was
That's the
doing that.
battle.
Yup.
Yo, you can't do nothing in this world without having competition, without having a mirror, man, in front of you, man.
I remember they used to
Iron
battle
sharpens
all the
iron,
little
though.
flips and the
Yeah,
outfits.
Yeah,
And we used to look forward to that, man.
that shit
exactly.
was yeah.
Because you seen your peers express their talents. It was dope to see. And they, like, you had some peers that you didn't even know they had talent like that. Like, what? Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like, because like I was so scared to do certain stuff, but it wasn't like I couldn't sing or I couldn't dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was so scared. Like I was just always, I think maybe because of opinions or, but
probably
it's so stupid. But yes, I would go back to. I was sure
because Neptune, when it came to cracking, Neptune was like,
yeah,
Those talent shows was like the
you
Apollo.
already know. Yes, they were.
Yeah.
The most memorable one.
That's all we did too. That's what we did.
Remember
Crack
Neil?
on each other.
Neil did the Humpty.
Who?
Neil from Up the Hill. He did the Humpty dance.
That's right.
You don't remember that one? That was a good one too.
I remember that.
I remember that. Damn, you took it back.
I remember when I
you
won that
did.
year.
Was
You
it
know,
91, 92, one of those years.
yeah. I was listening to a lot of Richard Pryor during that time. Yeah.
Me and G, he actually did a pre, you know, he before from me and G, he did, you know, the exact.
I remember he did it for us too.
Right, and we were like, bro. I was like, listen, bro, you sounded too much like Richard. I want to see Dre.
Yeah, Richard Pryor was my that was my
you know
shit.
What I'm saying? Like, yeah. He had us listening to that nigga's crazy all the time.
That was my shit. Me and Wally used to sit, and Wally was supposed to be on the show. But yeah, we used to listen to that a lot. And I came out the DOS Effects. DOS Effects that just came out.
Yep. That was 92.
I was nervous as hell, man. I really was.
were.
And a fight broke out right prior to my set. And I kind of incorporated that into kind of like, you know, warming up the crowd because the fight had just broke out. But I remember, man, leading up to that show, Cats was like in the school, man, was like, yo, you better be funny. Cats was talking about they had
Damn, that's scary.
They was gonna
man.
be throwing pennies at me. Or we gonna light you up, buddy. You better be funny. I incorporated that into the show.
You got that footage? Do you have that footage?
I had it. My mom got that shit somewhere.
Really? She was
That
there
was
taking.
crazy to see.
She filmed it.
I got a copy of it and I gave it to my mom and she got that somewhere. But yeah, man.
Oh,
that's
man.
nice. That's nice.
I was working at Burger King at the time that got robbed up there in Ocean. And I remember they used to give us these Burger King hats, but they were real bright, like fluorescent. And I remember talking about, you know, if the lights go out, they will still be able to see us eating out of the chicken tenders and shit. It was wild, man. I had all types
You
of
also
jokes
talked about the roaches.
The roaches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
roaches
I
were
remember
talking
the
to you, and
the Roach Olympics
all right,
and all
that
that type of shit.
that's the Dre I know. That's the Dre I know.
Shit was
And you
bugged
killed
out.
it. You killed once you found your set. Once you found your lane and that set that you had, you killed it. You had us eating out the palm of your hands.
I
From that
actually
moment on.
went to I was in another show in Lakewood and went and performed in that show. And I think somebody from Def Comedy Jam was hosting that show. So my whole thing was set at that point that I was going to be a comedian. That was it. It was already
Yeah, that
set.
was your life, bro. That was
I was
like
going to be a
whole
comedian. When I got to Atlanta, I was still funny, but real life kicked in. And I didn't have that Neptune atmosphere around me to feed that. I didn't have the feeding mechanism to pull from. And got out of that.
I tried to figure it out on y'all when I tried to visit. When I came to visit.
That's even
Yo. Hey, when I came to visit him down south, I brought that spirit from Hasbury, Neptune spirit. I brought it right to him. He couldn't handle it, dog. He couldn't handle it. He was ready to fight all kinds of shit, dog. He couldn't handle it, dog.
Shit wasn't funny no more. Real life kicked in. So I was like, yo, I was serious.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah, he couldn't handle it, dog. I came hard too. I couldn't help it. You know what I mean? I ain't seen him in so long, though. So
me and Pop went to visit him in 97. Dre, I'm like, wow, you changed, bro.
He couldn't handle it.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Niggas
you gotta
feed
that. You gotta feed that. And that's when I just got off into music, man. I just started, you know, doing the music thing, and then that shit took off and did what it did, and I had that run. So, you know, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed everything. It was a nice journey. You know, still people till this day still, you know, some of the things that they know me for, they be like, you used to have a record deal? You used
That's
to
crazy.
rap?
That's what I'm saying in my
I
head.
would
You had a
never-
Yeah,
record. Like,
yeah. That's what
Can't
I'm
put that
saying.
together.
The same
what
thing,
was
like,
your MC name?
Finesse.
Where's your music? I want to hear it.
Oh shit!
I'll send you something.
I'm
Free
a
thugs
remix.
get lonely, nigga.
I'll
Free
dig out
thugs
something.
get
something.
lonely.
Yeah. Chico
remix.
gonna remix that.
Yes, I am. I'm definitely gonna remix it. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, man. I'll
Free
find something.
thugs get lonely,
Yeah,
shot.
man.
Oh, I gotta pee. What you about to do? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Hostile. That nigga, yo, he was on top of the world, man. Dre had record deal written all over him, man. Dre
Who
really
you
was
signed to?
there.
What label?
Dre really felt he was really sitting on that too. He really was star cast.
I lived the
He was-
part, man. I lived the part.
Yeah.
What
I
label
lived the
was it?
part.
But I guess that happens too, though, man. Because there's a few cats like that I ran to like that too, though. With the
Strand
record stuff.
Those
Strand
talent shows
Theater.
used to be popping.
Oh,
They
wow.
had talent shows at the Strand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yep. They
We
sure
was just
did.
talking about the Strand Theater last night.
Yeah, we sure was, Dre.
Wow.
They sure. Yep. Oh, forgot all about those.
That's crazy.
Hey, good.
Yo,
people.
man, we gotta get a
gotta go to the
comment
bathroom.
section, man.
Go ahead, Cheek. We'll hold it down before we shut it down. Yeah, man.
I
The
want to
journey.
go on you now, dog, but I know we're on the show, man. I just want to roast you out.
Hey, I'm gonna roast you back. You don't want no smoke, buddy.
Yo, you know I want the smoke. I always want the smoke, Dre. Shit, I don't mind laughing at myself. Shit. But that was an experience with him being a rapper, dog. I can just roast the whole thing throughout, but I ain't gonna roast it. I'll just leave it alone. But
You can't really roast that because you were one of my biggest fans.
yeah, I was one. Yeah, but I can still roast you, nigga. Don't mean I
And-
can't roast you.
And with that experience, you knew you were on the way to.
Yeah. Why you trying to? Hey, yo,
You remember the movie Great White Hype? You remember the cat?
That was Pot.
Yeah, Pop was one of the dudes that used to hang around.
Yeah,
with
I
the
thought
boys.
I was gonna be big. That's
Remember
all,
when he
man. I thought Dre was really gonna lay it down, man.
Remember when he threw the ring? He got the ring, picked the ring up, put it on his finger. Like, I don't want this ring.
Wow.
But anyway, let me see.
Yo, man, we gotta get a roast show, man. Just one time, we should just get a roasting, just a roast
Cracking
show,
on each
man.
other and nobody taking it
Yeah.
personally. It was like,
Yeah, we
all
should get that
love at
one
the end of
time,
the day.
man.
Yeah.
Why y'all want to do that?
Yo,
Yeah,
we
Dwayne
need
is
that
right.
old school 80s vibe, man. We need that, like just a roasting, just one show for roasting, man. Invite a few people, get a few people in here, just get
That
a
was the-
roast off.
You know, I'm asking about that Mark, you right.
He was in Lakewood, right?
That's exactly where I went. And the dude that was hosting was his last name was Woods, Tony Woods. I think his name was Tony Woods. Yeah.
Let's get it cracking.
Let's get it cracking. There y'all go.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is.
Well, it's been cracking for the past.
Yeah, but
2
you know,
hours.
the whole comedy thing, I
Yeah.
gotta have the right elements for that. And I gotta
Right.
have Wally on here. And he's been begging to get on, but you know, it's Ramadan, so he was a little busy. But when I get him on, Pot, you can, you know,
The two of y'all together, that's too much. That's ridiculous.
yeah, it's gonna
Oh
be crazy.
my gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
We should. Nobody did that. I mean, does that on here, so I think
Yeah,
it's
Mark.
good. We get a little crack session.
It's
Mark
good
too.
exercise.
Yeah, and Mark, definitely
Right.
Mark.
Well, where's
Yeah.
Mark at? He's in the comment section. Where is he?
He was supposed to be on the show. I told him to chime in. I sent him the link, but you know, Mark be working late, so he said he got
Oh.
in late. But Mark, funny as hell too. Still the same. Still the same.
That's so funny.
Still
Just
the
bring up
same.
some old funny stuff, man. That's all. Just
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to say nothing new. Just old funny stuff, man. Like
Right.
For real,
that's
man.
Omar.
Everybody got a lot of funny shit back in the day on them.
Omar.
Everybody.
What's up, Omar?
Hey,
Yeah,
so
that's Omar.
what's up?
I
Oh,
got
what's
stories
up,
about
Big
Omar
O?
too. Probably. Do you remember one night? You probably don't remember. Oh, it was a random night. We was walking around and we walked past your house, and they would think it was me, you, and Greg, and we ended up at the right by the basketball courts. There was a where they tow all the cars. What you call that shit? Like where the
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about up in Neptune behind the school.
behind the school, the impound lot. Remember that?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
true indeed. True,
Okay,
true. I remember that.
I just wanted to see if you remember. We don't got to go into details, but we did.
Yeah, with the black BMW back there. You remember the black BMW?
Yeah, that was a whole that impound lot
Black
started a
BMW,
whole shit.
Yeah, man.
Yo, man,
That's enough
yo,
pot.
let's stop
Pot.
right
That's it. That's it. I just wanted to see if you remember.
Yeah, I gotta
Pot,
mute
that's
him. He
enough
going.
pot.
He's gonna be. Look at him. He running his mouth.
It's still going. Stop. Stop talking, man. Stop.
Oh my God! Pop almost got into a fight behind that impound lot. He almost got into a fight behind that shit. Niggas showed up
I
like, yo,
just
that's
remember
my shit.
Kwani, man. I remember Kwani, man. Kwani was fast though, man. When cops was coming, whatever, man.
Hey,
Kwani.
yo, you remember when Almighty came to your house about them damn that shit from the
Oh
impound
yeah.
lot?
Oh yeah.
Almighty, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
my brother. Oh,
Oh my
Leave all
God!
alone.
Almighty.
Yo, man. Touching those impounds became famous, dog.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a piece of that shit, man.
Yeah.
But I know it was a black BMW back there that was gorgeous as fuck. I remember that. I remember that BMW though. I don't remember that. And I know you had some tornadoes, Dre.
Those were no tornadoes.
Man, they were tornado speakers,
You
man.
had some 15.
You know the ones you
15
traded your car for?
whatever. Anyway,
But stuff like that, like it's crazy how we would just link up
go ahead.
and just do shit, like shit unplanned. Just that little
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
8th, 9th,
Mhm.
10th Avenue. You could
It
just
was
walk
real
up the street,
organic.
somebody would be on the porch,
Yeah,
and we would just get into
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
those were the days. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're gonna call it a show. I appreciate everybody coming through and sharing their stories. Just on a side note, I'm very thankful and blessed to have had my experiences as well as meet these individuals and have experiences with them coming up in Neptune, New Jersey. Shout out to Asbury Park. And it was a great time. And I'm thankful for it. I really am. And I'm going to try to encapsulate as much as possible my experiences and my stories and pass them on to my kids. Because I'm going to tell you now, I'll be telling my kids stories and they swear I'm lying.
Yep.
Can't be true.
Oh yeah.
And they go when they go to
Bad.
Jersey, they're talking to my family to try to validate,
Mhm.
my stories. Is that true? It just can't be. And I'm like, no, this is real. This is real.
Yeah.
Very rich history and colorful and dynamic and everything. It's a movie.
Mhm.
Is there anything you guys want to throw in there before we close it out?
Nope.
Should be good, man.
Uh,
Neptune was groundbreaking, and we did shit that would stick with you, and it shaped and molded you for the future. I'm sure we all, once we left Neptune, we carried some of the shit that we learned with us, and wherever we lay roots next, we use some of that foundation to start our new life. I know I did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most def.
Niggas, I'm still in Neptune.
He's still in Neptune.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
I'm still, yo, man, I'm still 18 years old, dog.
More power to you.
Pot crazy.
what I learned in that town, basically shaped who I am and continues to shape who I am today. So, shout out to the 07753.
True. Sister J, anything you want to say?
No, Neptune was everything.
And one last thing, I meant to ask y'all this question. Not Pop, because Pop might not know this cat. Remember the dude that went to school with us? He used to walk with a cane. He was heavy into X Clan, light skinned dude. I know Chico, you know who I'm talking about. He used to have the spray painted, he used to always have somebody with him.
Mm-hmm.
He used to wear the beads, the big beads.
I think he remind you of the guy off. He remind you of what's the name? Which one? Kid or Play? One of the two.
He was light skinned. I think something was wrong with one of his legs.
Was he older than us?
Was he
Nah.
Alex? Was his name Alex?
But he always walked with a cane.
And when I say cane,
with us.
I don't mean like a cane.
You mean a
like a stick, like a walking. Yeah.
Right, but
I remember the cane, but I just don't remember the person. I remember the cane though. I don't remember the
light skinned dude.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He was real quiet. He was real quiet.
I think.
But I thought that was like
Alex
like
Percival. I think.
Anybody in chat know?
Alex Percival. I want to say Alex Percival or something like that.
I don't know his real name. I think
you know what?
They called him Wise.
They did call him Wise, but he had another name.
Yes.
I think he got shot in the
eye. Talking about Wise. I know his. He dated my friend for a while. And he got shot. I think did he lose
Russian
eye?
roulette? Yeah, he lost his eye.
Wise.
Are we talking about the same person? He went to Neptune?
Yeah, he went to Neptune.
Yeah.
Super quiet.
Really, really quiet. He lived right next door to where that's how I met him.
He got shot
before he
I think he shot himself playing Russian roulette or something like that.
Damn.
And he ended up blind in one eye.
Yeah.
He was mad cool. He was mad cool.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bro.
He lived across the street from Lumumba and that's why.
Yeah. I forgot his name. Said he was never alone. He was always with them.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes weigh like 1,000 pounds.
He used to always have somebody with him, like they was his bodyguard.
I forgot his. I thought you were talking about somebody else. Right. But yeah, Wise. What the heck was Wise's name?
He was heavy into X Clan.
Yeah.
He was heavy into a lot. Like he was
cat, worth mentioning, man. He's an iconic figure. You used to always see him in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? He was just cool. And I just thought he should be mentioned.
What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
But cool cat, man. Cool cat. Yeah.
So brother number one.
Wake up.
All right. But yeah, on that note, we'll go ahead and close it out. Man. Thanks. Mark said Wise. Omar, I think Omar said Wise too. Thank the chat for that. But yeah, that brother Wise. Iconic figures, man. Walk around the hallway. I just remember people, and they brought something to the table that just stuck with me because of who they were. And that's just the way it is. What Dwayne
we didn't have to pretend.
It's crazy how you know everybody's nickname, but not their real name.
Not
Facts.
their real name, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so true.
Rest in peace to Carol Glisson too. I think
Michael Thomas.
He just had a building dedicated to him. Gerald Glisson.
Yep.
I think.
Really?
He sure did. Yeah, he sure did. Yep.
Gerald Glisson was a good dude, man.
He was.
Mark said Michael Thomas. Does that name ring a bell?
Who's
Michael
that?
Thomas.
That's Wise's real name?
Yeah, I think that's what Mark said.
I think Thomas ring Michael. I wanted to say William, but
Mark should have been on the show.
Mike,
I love y'all, man, but I can't keep my eyes open.
But we were neighbors for a while, and he dated my friend. So yeah,
Wise.
Yeah, Pop about to go out.
Yo, man, my eyes.
You know what?
Thomas, I think
you know what? I'm not talking about Wise. Did Wise have curly hair?
Yeah, he had like
Wise's mom was white. A white.
That's
lady.
not who I'm talking about.
Okay, who else?
So you must be talking about the same guy I'm talking about. Then
I think the cat name I'm talking about. I think his name was William.
Don't know him.
He was mad quiet. He used to always, now that's a mystery.
I don't think his name was William, though. It might be Wise, man.
Nah, it's not Wise because Wise was skinny. He was a skinny cat.
The one you're talking about is not skinny?
He's skinny, but he is not Wise. Wise
one you're
almost looked like
talking
a
about,
skinny
Dave.
Albie Shore or some shit, right?
Uh,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he had that vibe.
He did, but he also had a
Nah, I
weird
ain't talking
walk.
about him. I ain't talking
the
about
one
him.
you're talking about, I think he had the walking stick, but I don't think something was wrong with him. I think it was just like his style, like his.
Nah, I think that cat had a bad leg or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo,
something
man.
wrong.
Yo, I can't. Yo, I
So
gotta.
going back,
Yo,
you're
my.
talking
buddy.
about the same person I was
Yeah,
saying
man.
in the beginning, the one that looked like
Okay.
Fit or Play or one of them. He used to wear the high box.
Nah, he had like an afro, like I said, he always had somebody with him. I'm gonna figure this shit out, man.
Oh, you talk about
Oh,
I know
there
you
we
talking
go.
about light skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could barely see, but always talk positive.
Yes. Damn, what's his name? Civ.
Nice.
I think his name was Civilized.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You talking about him from the Gables? Where he wore glasses?
Did he wear glasses?
Damn, what was his
I
name?
just remember the cat. He used to always have spray painted clothes and shit with shit all over his clothes, like graffiti and shit. He used to have big ass beads. He used to have a cane,
I remember
walking stick,
that.
And he was always smiling.
and he was quiet. And I think he used to walk a little funny, and he used to always have some big dude with him.
That sounds familiar.
Do you remember what class? I think it was 93.
Might have been older than us.
Nah. He was in our. He
April?
was in our. He was in
our
our
class?
class.
I think
Yeah.
he
I don't
was
remember him.
I think he was 93.
If I had a yearbook, I'll
Really?
find him.
Nah.
I'll find him. I think his name was William. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I'm gonna figure it out though. This is like an anomaly to me now.
Now you got me thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
And I'm telling
have
you,
a visual
when I
in
figure
my
this
head.
out, Chico gonna be
I
like,
gotta know him.
you gotta know him.
I
Because
remember
he definitely was
Jack.
like,
I think his name was Jack. His name used to call him Civilized. Remember him? He had like curly hair, real light skin, 5%er,
nah,
quiet but always talking positive.
might be.
Damn, you
This
got
cat didn't
you
talk
got me.
much though.
He didn't talk. Okay, it ain't him then.
He ain't talk much.
This dude was talking to.
William.
I
don't know
swear
why.
I know who you're
I don't
talking
know why
about.
William is just like resonating with me. William. I bet not Raymond Handy, but what's the other dude? Franklin.
Ray Franklin. Wasn't his name Raymond too?
Raymond Franklin?
Yeah, the big
want-
dude.
I want to say he used to be around him sometimes. I don't know.
That makes sense because it would have been the three of them. It would have been Raymond Handy, Raymond Franklin, and this other guy. Damn, who are you talking about, man?
It's that guy that I'm telling you.
He's heavy. He's heavy in X Clan. X Clan was his shit.
I gotta know who you're talking about. X Clan was my shit.
I want to say William. I don't know why William is stuck.
Man, X-Man was everybody's shit. That's a difficult one, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I want to say William.
And if you say he was always with a big dude, he was probably with Raymond Franklin.
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm seeing in my head.
Raymond Franklin.
Because he been big forever.
There's so many characters, man, that we came up around. It's like a needle
That's
in a
a really
haystack
nice
trying to figure these brothers out, man.
They had a cool little crew too. Didn't Raymond Handy have like a car like X Clan? He did this car up like X Clan or something, right?
Raymond Handy.
Yeah, because they
Wow.
had a little clique too. It was like four.
You
of
know
them.
what? You right. And the dude I'm
Mhm.
talking about used to roll with them, but he yes.
I want to say it's not his name's not Cedric, is it?
Nah, I think it's William. I don't know why I'm saying William, but I think it's William. Light skin, afro, small afro. Mad quiet though.
Damn. Yeah. You got me.
Wow.
Yeah, you got me too
with
now.
that. I'm thinking like, the hell is that?
Nah, it wasn't Wise, because Wise was a skinny cat.
Yeah,
I'll be
Wise was
sure
super
little
quiet,
brother
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wise was super quiet.
Yeah, not Wise.
What made you think of that?
because I was just running through my mind people from the hallway who I remember from the hallway because of their representation of how they represented themselves, and he just stuck out. Somebody grab a yearbook and take a look. I don't know. I don't even got a Nike yearbook. Yeah, I don't even have a yearbook, but yeah, man, I think it's William.
And it's so crazy because I'm seeing Raymond Handy, I'm seeing Raymond Franklin.
There was definitely somebody
I think he used to be with them.
Yeah, but
I remember who. Oh, that's
y'all gonna bug out when y'all figure this out, man.
Damn.
Yeah, he used to hang with them.
Nobody in the chat, in the comments, remember?
Was he big like them?
Nah.
I mean, like,
nah, it was a little dude. Mark said, "Get the yearbook out." I don't know, man.
Somebody get the yearbook out.
Who got it? I don't have a yearbook.
I don't have one either.
I used to have mine, but I lost it.
In hindsight, Neptune was the shit, but I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Me either.
Yeah, I left like shit right after graduation, really.
Yep.
I couldn't see myself being there after graduation because once graduation occurred, it was like, okay, now what? Because they're really, I mean, now what? So I was like,
the dumbest thing that I did. Oh my God.
She don't want to say it.
I started it. Hindsight, like looking back, but the stupidest shit I did was because I had my son. I think I was in 10th grade when I had my son, and I got left back. I was supposed to graduate in 94, but I graduated in 95. Instead of going to summer school, I went to school a whole nother year just to prove a point to my stepfather and my aunt, because they pretty much was like, oh, you have a kid now, so you're just going to be on welfare and do nothing with yourself. So yeah, I went to school a whole nother year instead of taking one stupid class in summer school.
I'm gonna show them
just to walk across it. I'm gonna show them pretty much.
I did the same
like,
exact thing.
Who gives a hell? Like, huh?
I did the same thing. I was supposed to graduate in 92. And I did my whole 93 I had one class. That's why
we have such similarities. That's
crazy. That's crazy.
That is so crazy.
I ended up being in the right grade because I got.
You were in 92? I thought you was with us.
I'm the same age as y'all, but I got skipped early. I skipped first grade. I went from kindergarten to second grade. I did some shit my mother did. I don't know. But I was a year ahead.
Yep.
I got the Neptune again. Culture shock. I didn't know what to do with myself, and I was in class with Wiley. As a matter of fact, we was in environmental science. Mr. D or Dr. D or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And I needed his credits, so I got left back. I did the whole 93. I had like one or two classes.
I had one class, and I remember Larry.
I didn't want to go to summer
Tanya's brother, Larry. One time he was driving by and all I saw was his whole body shaking as he pulled over. Like, I know you're not walking to no bus stop. Like, like, what the fuck are you still doing in school? Like, and I explained to him, and when I tell you, he thought that was the funniest thing. And I like after school started, I just thought it was so stupid. Like, what am I proving a point? But I had to walk across the stage just to show them, like, that's just, imagine you live your life and you feel like you have to prove points to people about stuff, like, just you know what I mean?
But again, it was for a reason.
Yeah, it was for a reason, I guess. Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
I feel like that's like the dumbest
one
of the dumbest things I've ever done.
Just to have a senior year full of fun.
Yeah, I was about to say, like as y'all were talking, I probably would have did the same thing simply for the fact that Neptune is an experience.
Yeah.
So to opt out of that experience would have been a little challenging for me. Like I'm just gonna have the experience. and prove the point and all the other shit that come along with it.
But have the experience.
Yeah, it's the experience. So it makes
But
sense.
you know what? All my people were gone. Like you don't really look at the people underneath your grade. Like you usually look at the ones above. So like when you supposed to be out of there and you with the people, you know, the next year up, like it's not the same. But then again,
Right.
I probably wouldn't have had my 2 children and you know my last 2 and yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
for a
that's
reason,
true.
for a
But
purpose, for a reason.
My main best friends were right there with me, so I guess that's why it didn't really feel like that to me.
Yeah,
because I had my brothers right there.
No, it was just.
But that's weird to think about as an adult. Like, what the fuck? Why didn't you just go to summer school?
Right.
I really did a whole
class.
extra.
I
year
went to
for
summer
nothing.
school. That's what I did. I went to summer school, summer of '92. Because I would have gotten left back and came out in '94, but I was like, nah, I'm going to summer school. Because
I went to summer school before when I didn't have to. Like 6th, 7th grade, I went to summer school just for extra credit.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't go. You didn't go
No,
for the one class.
Nope. I was having too much fun. It's Neptune.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All my people.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. She said
That's
no.
crazy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty of being a Neptunian.
Yeah.
And the thing, this generation, the kids who are going to school there now and the other generations that are coming up, they will never know what it was.
Yeah.
They will never know the landmarks and just they just would never know. It's a different time. You know, they would never know.
You're right. It's a different dimension. That dimension doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And I look at the fact that they got AstroTurf now. I'm like, damn, I could have played football on AstroTurf. Wonder what that be like. Running a touchdown on AstroTurf. Y'all lucky. But looking back at what we had, it's uncomparable.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never get to experience that.
Right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's memories and our memories. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what that reminds me of? Like when we first moved to Florida, and my son was, you know, playing football and doing his thing. The kids here, they were playing football on concrete. Like, like they were straight. And I used to be like, these kids are beasts. Like they were really into football and they were just on concrete, like in a parking lot, just playing football.
Tackle?
Yeah. Like straight, like a whole football. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
And I think that's what, like, my son left New Jersey playing football. Like, he was really good. And then when he got here, it just took off, you know? But yeah, playing on turf and that brought me to concrete. They were playing on concrete. Like, damn.
I think Omar said that. Imagine back then if your parents could track your every move. You know,
I can't imagine. I can't.
Oh,
imagine.
heck yeah.
Hell no.
Nope. Yeah, we was some everywhere. House parties, you know, the house parties used to be off the chain.
You know what else was dope was to be outside of Neptune and then run into people that wasn't necessarily a clique, but you automatically, you know, they was from Neptune, so you automatically clicked up at a party outside of Neptune.
Yep.
Like we'd go to like Red Bank, shit like that.
That used to happen to me when I moved to Atlanta. I was at Freaknik one time. This was like 95 on the expressway, traffic stop on the expressway. Everybody's out of their cars. And I'm just having a grand old time. And I see somebody from where I'm from. Like, how does that happen? Right. We're on the expressway.
Right.
In Georgia, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that does that still happen to you?
That used to happen a lot. It doesn't happen as often now because I pretty much probably have, because social media, you know, I know who's where they live and how close they are to me, blah, blah, blah. But prior to social media, it used to happen a lot because I didn't have information on where people were and just would bump into them. Like Andre, that was on our last show, I got on the MARTA train in Atlanta. I don't know where I was going, and I'm on the train, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him.
Yo, I
He's
just want
looking
to
at
say
me,
good night to all
and I'm
y'all.
like, I know this dude from somewhere, and he's saying the same shit about me.
Potty.
I can't keep my eyes open no more,
right,
man. I'm
Potty.
out.
All right, Pot.
Peace, love,
All
and
right,
happiness, man.
Love you, Pot.
I am in Georgia, and I ain't running to your ass yet. Who was that? Omar?
Did you end up speaking to the dude?
Yes. And it was Andre. We was in preschool together. Andre Rice, almighty cousin.
Oh, okay.
And we've been.
That's Almighty. I didn't know
that
that was his cousin.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Who
First
said
cousin.
that in the chat? Because I'm in Georgia too, and I never ran into you, but I don't run into nobody on purpose.
That was probably
on purpose.
Omar.
You sound like me on purpose.
I've been moving
like,
further and further out the way since I came here because I was tired of running into people.
Yeah.
I'm you know what's crazy? Like I live in West Palm Beach.
She just wants to be.
My
obscure.
parents live in Port St. Lucie, and I ran into Dania Federique, and I was like Neptune,
the hell you doing here?
Like, well,
wow.
We travel.
You're like, what the hell is she doing here?
I was like, well, what is she doing in Port St. Like, I could understand if it was like Miami or like. I mean, but still, from Neptune to Florida.
To Chico.
Yeah, make sure you call first. I got a lot of guns.
Yeah, sound like me. I love my folks, man, but I like to be a little unfindable.
Me too.
A little bit.
Me too.
Especially when they be like, "Where you at? I'm about to move out there," and I'm like, "No,
please don't stay home."
No,
but you know what? It's another side to that. Sometimes it's bad because I really should have seen you before now. Like, as much as we both like to stay out the way, we should have linked many years ago, but that's my fault.
Well, I've been all over Atlanta, especially when I was doing the music thing. I think I performed in during that time in the 90s, every spot here.
That's crazy. When did you stop? Because I came here in 2006, 2005, and I came here doing music.
None of the 2000s. I had a run in the 90s. Yeah. By 2000, I think I was doing corrections then. I was a correctional officer. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
But I definitely stay out the way. Just give me a fishing pole in my garden and my music.
That's me all day. I'm going fishing tomorrow. But yeah,
I stay out the way. That's why I drop off of social media sometimes. Like, I mean, I deleted Facebook, my Instagram. I opened it back up. Who knows what'll happen soon or what? I just drop off for like a good year or so and pop back up. Like, but I stay out of the way. Like, I get invited to stuff sometimes, like even family stuff, and I'm just kind of like, I think it's an excitement when I show up somewhere and it's like, oh, you're here, like, because I really,
that's got to be
nowhere.
I stay out the way because I left Jersey because of trouble, and I didn't want trouble to follow me here, so that's why I stay out the way.
I'm not so people-y all the time. That's probably as I get older, it's kind of like
I'm sort of a control freak, and being that I'm a control freak to a degree, I like to be in control of how I'm going to meet people, where I'm going to meet people, how long I'm going to meet people, and be in control of my ability to remove myself from the environment if it calls for that. So when I meet up with friends from back in the day, I'm pretty much in control of that situation.
Right.
I know I'm going there to meet everybody, blah, blah, blah. Right. And when it's over, or even if it's not over, I can still remove myself from that environment. And then that experience is done.
Yeah.
Versus
that makes sense.
Where you at? I'm about to move next door to you. I'm being funny, but I'm just saying.
No.
Or even just being out and seeing people, just at random. So you're not really in too much control of that situation either.
Exactly.
Right.
So
it's good while it lasted, but now, all right, we're gonna get back to our own lives.
yeah.
And then what I ran into
You know?
is when you talk about being in control, my problem a lot of times is that people haven't grown, right? So you still talk to me as if it's 1993, but you have no idea the shit I've been through and the person I've become.
Right.
So
Mm,
we really sometimes don't have nothing to talk about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
That's
no
so
disrespect,
true.
but sometimes it may come off as disrespect. Like, you might remember me from then, and maybe you
Right.
might have done some of the stuff and think, like we got something to talk about, but I'm 3 times removed. I have lived 3 other lives. I'm
Right.
a whole nother man now. So sometimes we really have nothing to talk about.
Nothing.
Yeah,
That's true.
And we're all
Nothing.
pushing, and realistic, we're all pushing 50, man.
Yeah.
So why would you even want to be in that mindset of being 17?
But people are.
Let's talk about growth.
People
Let's
are.
talk
People
about where we
definitely
are now. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I recently, this is a good example. I recently got and this is one of the reasons why, I like Messenger and I don't like Messenger, because you'll get people who will reach out to you that you don't care to hear from.
Mhm.
And somebody
I leave them
called
on
me
red.
recently,
I leave them
and
right on red.
I'm not gonna say no names, but like Chico just explained, people think you are the same person from back then, and they want to come out here to kick it, and we can do X, Y, and Z, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking to myself,
I don't do none of that.
I don't do none of that.
You just think just because it's Atlanta, like I'm supposed to just do that. I don't do none of that.
Exactly.
Or they think you're acting funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or they think you're acting funny, or you're different, or I am different. I am
Yeah.
very different.
And I am acting funny. So get away from me.
Right.
April said
Right.
facts. April know what I'm talking about too.
Chick said, "Get away from me."
Yeah,
Listen, I'm a whole different person. So
Right.
I'm kind of rude and like, yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
I'm different.
Yep. But it's our journey, and
But it's great to reminisce. I love this. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got
Most
some great
definitely.
stories.
Made us who we are, though.
Even
Oh,
people
yeah.
in the chat. That's so crazy, man. How you like this little group you put together? We all have stories with everybody. Omar, I got plenty of stories of Omar. Mark, we did some shit. Like,
yeah, I
we live
wanted
great
Mark on
lives.
here. Yeah, I wanted Mark on, and that's the thing. Certain topics, I won't tackle those topics unless I have the right panel, and
That's true.
sometimes I'm not in control of when I can get someone, so I'll just sit on that subject until the stars align. And when
Is
they
Wally
do,
still funny, man?
hell yeah.
Yo, I remember one time Wally tried to dunk and ran into the pole at Ridge. Shit like that is priceless, man. I love to
Wally
talk to him.
is still a clown. But I will say this about Wally. Wally is a full-scale Muslim now,
Good.
and he takes Islam very serious. I
As he
think
should.
Nice.
I want to say he started in the nation and then went over to like Al Islam. But yeah, he's serious about his religion and all of that. And I commend him for that. He has a family, and yeah, he's a serious dude now. But he still laugh. He still
got it in him.
calls me at the drop of a hat on some funny shit, and we be laughing. And sometimes I'm like, Wally, not now, but yeah, we still laugh. We still laugh. And,
That's
That's
good.
because your character, like your personality and your character is who it is. Like no matter how old you get, like
That's
there's
my
certain
brother.
things about us that just
that
is
is
just
my brother.
us.
Like I can honestly say, people have served different aspects of my evolution, and I don't cross the streams. I don't compare because their lanes are unique. Me and Dave's lane is so unique. No one can fill that. Just Dave.
Mhm.
Starting from the beginning, like when we were like extremely young. that journey that I took with
6 years old.
Dave, nobody that's you know, it's priceless.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
only me and Dave share that.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody else. There's no wingman, no nothing. It's just me and Dave.
Yep.
Then I have a segment where it's Wally.
Yep.
It's just me and Wally, road dogs, for a segment of my evolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Mark.
Yep.
You know, and then there was a time frame where certain elements did kind of culminate and we were kicking it together, you know. But throughout my entire journey from early on, Dave is probably the only consistent individual that's been there since the beginning up until now. Everybody else are add-ons. They came onto the journey along the way, but Dave's been there since, you know,
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning. When I tell you,
1980, 6 years old.
I used to get
that far back
whoopings.
Yeah.
For what Dave used to do in
42
school, because I'm participating.
years.
And Dave used to get whoopings for shit I used to do in school because he's participating in my shit.
Yep.
Our parents knew each other hard. Like, yo.
Yep. Exactly.
It's wild. I can remember sitting in class with Dave when we were just little tykes, man. And him beating on the desk and snickering and laughing and shit. He got his penny loafers on with the pennies in them and shit. And we disrupting the class. Bugged out.
Yeah.
And at this age, he's a walking, talking encyclopedia of Black history at this age.
That's
I don't know nothing
nice.
about Motown, but he know everything about Motown.
That is so nice.
Yep.
Shit, he did then.
Yeah.
I was in English class with him, and I used to hope that whoever was the teacher, I would hope that they would call on Dave because the way he read.
Yeah.
I used to love to hear him read.
My brother.
That is so nice.
I love y'all for that.
Me and Dave were way back, boy.
Yep.
Them days at the bottom of Ocean Grove in those dark, dungeony rooms with weird looking teachers playing shoots and ladders. Just me and him and her.
Yep. and
Candyland. And Candyland.
The janitors.
Yeah.
And the janitors.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
they got us at the bottom of the school.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, just us. Yep.
But that's cool that today that y'all can still like we all got that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Sizwe is that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's so nice.
That's your
That
wingman.
is so
That's
nice.
the magic. But that's the magic of Neptune. It's a magical place. I don't think, I love you too, April. I don't think any other town, maybe it is, but I don't think any other town is like ours. I'm sorry.
No,
You know,
I don't. I
where
feel like that
it's
too.
just, it's so it's strategically placed, uniquely placed, so that we can. It's just unique. I can't say any words about it, and it's always been like that. Like my mother went to school with people that we went to school with. Let me rephrase that. Like our peers, their mothers went to school with my mother. And so it's like an extended family through generation and generation. Like I don't even know if any town has that like that. You know, it's and the fact that we still have that connection after all these years is incredible. Yeah, we're grown now, we're adults, and you know, we're not going to see or speak to each other every day. But when we come on a platform like this, there's still that connection. I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that.
Me and Dave go back to Griffin's on the Ave when Griffin's was
You
open.
remember Griffin's? I used to get headbands. I used to put the letters on the headbands at Griffin's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Wow.
Griffin's. Y'all old.
Griffins.
Wow.
Yeah. Griffin's.
Yep. Griffins. That's right.
And I could never afford anything out of Griffin's. I used to just walk by and look in the window, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you need anything put on something,
that was
go to
it.
Griffin's.
Yep.
Yeah. And Mincy's across the street.
Yeah. Wow.
Mincy's. Remember King's Corner, Dave?
Yep.
That's
oh
that's
my
old.
God. You taking it way back, bro.
King's Corner. That's
Right there,
that's
close
pretty far
to
back.
close to Atkins.
I was just gonna ask where.
It's on the app, but it's right
EJ's.
there.
Right across from where the church is, right there.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right
Yep. Yeah. What about EJ's?
EJ Roberts.
Yeah, that's all I was about to say. EJ Roberts. Or
Get my
two
school
guys.
clothes from. Two
Yep.
guys.
Oh my God.
I remember the
EJ
first time I
Roberts.
got on the train and went to Newark trying for school clothes. I was happy as hell. I got
Exactly.
Oh my God, going to Newark was a
we
big
call them
deal.
fanny packs then.
Was
We
it?
call them fanny packs now. Yeah, Newark was a big deal, right?
That was a
When you go
big
school
deal.
shopping,
Like,
Newark.
Yeah.
You thought you went out the state.
Exactly. Because you knew you was going to get some fresh shit.
right,
Yep.
right.
Okay, real quick. I also used to run into you, Dre, on Jasmine's porch.
I was gonna bring up Jasmine.
Where is Jasmine?
Last time I saw Jasmine was in a health food store down here. It's probably over 10 years ago.
She's here too.
Yeah. I don't know if she's still here, but that's when I ran into her. But she was, well, yeah.
Those were also some very ahead of their time conversations.
Yeah. And Kim was supposed to be on here too.
Kim, I forgot about Kim. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
so
Damn.
oh, you're talking about Jasmine and you talking about Kim Brown.
Yep.
And Jasmine.
Yep.
I forgot Jasmine's last name. Oh, that's
Sa-
nice.
Sa-
You went to
Sandifer.
school with us?
Oh,
Sandifer.
Sandifer. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went to school with us.
Yeah, Kim was supposed to be on tonight.
Oh,
year? I don't know if
Yep.
I remember
that
that.
would have been nice.
That's funny how we all
Yeah.
had cliques, but it was all like pairs.
So we're missing Mark, we're missing Kim, and we're missing Wally.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Y'all need to get on here.
It was gonna be phenomenal, man. It was gonna be phenomenal.
We just gotta do it
But this
again. That's all.
should be
Yeah.
a part
Let me
two.
check.
This should be a part two.
Yeah. I'm
'Cause
working
I
on it, man.
I still got potty stories, but he fell asleep.
Yeah, that's typical for him. And I had a conversation with him earlier about that. I was like, yo, take you a nap, man.
Body always sleeping.
But he obviously never
Yeah.
changed. That's what's up, my man.
Yeah, pot is gonna be pot no matter what.
Right.
Who is that? Bring me on. That's Omar. That's Omar. I wonder where Keenan Mackey is.
Wow.
Oh, Keenan is
you just coming with the
he's
random
somewhere
left
by
field.
Philly. He lives by Philly somewhere.
Keenan.
Bro, that used to
Mhm.
be my man. Keenan Mackey.
Yeah. Married, kids.
That's all right.
Mhm.
Dave, how old is your oldest?
He's 13.
13. Okay. Good luck.
I'll be coming for some advice.
Yeah, I'm here. My son just left here. He was here today. It's crazy to have I got a 26-year-old grown son.
That's what's up.
Damn.
Graduated
that's what's
college,
up, G.
out on his own. This shit is wild, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that is wild.
Just to see that.
Because it still feels like we just got out of high school not too long ago.
Yeah, especially remembering all this shit that y'all talking about. It don't seem like it was
Yeah,
so long ago.
Right.
that's crazy.
Damn.
I gotta wake
Yep.
up tomorrow and remind this fool to pay his car note. Like,
Yeah,
shit is crazy. Got grown kids.
Grown
Yeah.
kids. Well, I'm a grandma. My oldest is 30. He'll be 30 in October.
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pot's a granddad too. Pot got like 5 grandkids.
That's
Sure do.
that blows me away. Like
Me too.
Yeah,
that
Oh,
blows
that's
me
right.
away.
That's
Yep.
right. I'm stupid. I know that.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
yeah.
Damn.
No
That's
doubt.
a whole nother thing. Maybe we'll revisit that one day. It's cool to know that you can have like issues with somebody and resolve that shit. That's another Neptune thing. You can't go 2 weeks without having a problem with somebody.
Because
Right.
you're gonna see
because
them.
you-
You're
Because you're
gonna
gonna
see
see
them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, that will come to a head sooner than later.
I remember
Mhm.
I indirectly had issues with Patty. And
I had a pot. That's how we
I
met.
think I was about to say, because from that we became like good friends. This shit is
That's
wild.
my story.
This shit
We
is
had
crazy.
beef and became good friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. It's Pot's
Beautiful.
MO.
Yeah.
that's nice.
You just gotta know
It
him.
is.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Damn, did we run your time over?
We did.
Nah. I don't have a time limit, but I kind of try to keep it at an hour in an hour and a half.
And we're pushing
We blew
3.
that shit out the water.
Yeah, it's all good. Let me see. Let me see. People in the chat like I'm. Somebody said real talk, Chico. Let me see.
What did I do? Real talk, Chico.
Said
Dwayne Jr. is 28. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
The new age
Yeah,
grandma.
Dwayne's a grandfather too.
And our first kids are with
I
one-time best friends.
One time, they're not cool anymore.
The
April,
mothers.
you ain't got no cracking bones, man.
Is this April? April?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yep.
This is sweet, man. This is all
Yep.
right.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Get it, Granny. What?
That's Omar. That's Omar for you.
Oh my gosh.
Who is Selena Scott? You know who that is?
That was me and Selena. What does this say? Are
It
you
says
still friends with Selena? That's a yeah.
Uh-oh. That's usually how it
Yeah.
happens.
That's a no.
Me and Selena were friends for like a good 20-something years, and up to like maybe like a year or so ago, just kind of
Drifted
some
apart.
things. Yeah. More me, I think, for whatever reason, but
That happens.
yeah.
Yo, how did you get into music? Like, how did that even happen?
Me? My personality is I can look at something, right? And be like, I could do that. I've always been that way.
Was it something you was already interested in, or you just fell into it once you got here?
Once I got here, well, growing up, coming where we're from, you gotta be in the music like that, far as a big fan of the art. But my personality is I'm always looking at something and saying, I wonder if I can do that. I can do that. And if I say I can do something, I'll just go out and do it.
That's right.
Right.
That's always been me. I can run a whole list of shit down the line that I said, you know what, I'm gonna do that. It just went out and did it. I recently got my CDL license. I said I was gonna do that, went out and did it. But nah, one day I just said, I don't know what I was watching or listening to. I was like, I can do this. Told myself I can do it. Sat down and started writing. That's literally how it began. I started writing and got really good at it. And at the time, because I wasn't always a solo artist. I was in a group. And the group I was in, it was a dude from Baltimore and it was a dude from Maryland, Baltimore and Maryland.
Mm.
And we were dope here in Atlanta.
That's crazy.
And that eventually kind of fell apart. We had a cool run and it eventually fell apart and everybody kind of got, life happened. And one dude went to the military and the other dude, I don't know what the hell Dave did, but he went his way. And it was just me. And I wasn't going to stop because of that. I just kept going. And by this time, Atlanta's popping as far as hip hop is concerned. Jermaine Dupri, So Def has got their thing going on. I think Jack the Rapper was a big thing. And, it was just bubbling with that. And Baltimore and Maryland is the same place. You tell them cats that.
You can't say that to them.
Yeah, they ain't trying to hear that.
At what point did you get sick of the industry? Because the music industry, especially here, will chew you up and spit you out pretty quick.
What happened was once I went solo, I kept going. I made some really good friends along the way in the industry. And long story short, I didn't know much about the industry, the inner workings. I was really engulfed in just being an artist.
Right.
And during this time, you had a lot of books out about the industry. Like everybody had these books they were reading and learning about the hip hop industry and all that. And I was doing a lot of that, but not a lot of that because I was really focused on being an artist. Long story short, I met up with Katib, Lucky, and
Wow.
That's like
two
one
other
half a
guys
debut.
from Katib, Lucky, and two other guys from Lakewood. They were a singing group called damn, I forget the name of their group. I
Here?
met them in the studio. No, in Atlanta. And we started working together. And I actually did a song with them. I don't know where it's at. It was dope. And we got signed to the same independent label. Wow. Their group wound up breaking up. They was having some problems and they wound up breaking up. And then I think a lot of them cats went back to Jersey. They got replaced with another group called Blaze. And I started working with Blaze. During this time frame, I was doing a lot of shows and I picked up a man. I had never really had my own official manager. And I got a manager, and at this time they were shopping me around. And I remember 550 was just being created at Epic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Genuine was on 550.
Wow.
Was he?
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Wow.
They flew from up
550
top
music.
down to Atlanta to check me out. I think I had a $1.5 million deal on the table at the time.
Damn.
And they came out, met me, checked me out because I think I was performing somewhere. And my manager, who had another inside associate who was cool with Jermaine Dupri, they without, well, let me rewind a little bit. I actually got offered a singles deal with Ichiban Records. This is who everybody was on back in the day in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They just kind of, my manager just walked me into the door, let them hear something, and he was really good at what he did. And they offered me a singles deal, but I didn't. Keep in mind, I'm not really making the decisions at this point because I'm an artist. So management is like, we just want to make sure that we got what we got and it's hot. They offered the deal, but we're not gonna take the singles deal because we doing bigger things. Which till this day I still kind of, knowing what I know now, I would have took the deal, did the single.
Sorry, I mean ice cream, y'all.
It just would have been in my portfolio, like I did that,
Right.
It moved on. So they moved my project from Epic 550 and tried to go over to So Def. And when you're in a bidding war, you have to be sure once you start moving shit around. Because just because you got a deal or offer today, don't mean you can have an offer tomorrow.
That's right.
And that's exactly what happened. Because Jermaine Dupri, he liked the stuff, but he was so busy with everything else he had going on. He didn't take the type of interest in what they were presenting. But because they thought it would be a good thing because they know somebody who knows somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If that would have worked out, cool, fine, but it didn't. But my 550 situation dissolved because of that.
Right.
At this point, I'm once I found out, I'm upset. And I got rid of management. Because they had this thing where keep me in the dark as much as possible. Don't really let me personally build music relationships with these executives. So if I have to get rid of you, I still can backtrack and deal with the executive.
Yep.
But that wasn't the case. They kept me in the dark
on purpose.
Right.
And
kept me away from and kept me away from having those relationships where if I get rid of you, I still can
that's right
make a phone call.
Yeah.
blew the biggest deal ever. That was just with the 550 situation. Unplugged was the independent situation. It was like, cool, we'll take it. We'll move and do what we do. And it was a guy from London. His name was Drew. I don't know where Drew got his money from, but he had a lot of it. And he started the label, and he didn't know much about the music business, but he wanted to be the guy, which wasn't a problem. But you really should hire people who
know
the business. Right.
He didn't do that. So he's writing checks for a lot of things, and he's not recouping, not understanding that, you don't have to, because at that time, I think he spent like $500,000 on a video, on Blaze's video, when he didn't have to. And Blaze was hot. It was an R&B group.
And then you got to get recouped.
It had to be recouped. So what Drew did was he spent a lot of money, and he didn't have to spend a lot of money. He didn't want people to come in to make wise decisions on how to spend the money, how to save money, but still execute and get what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
He wound up going bankrupt. So Unplugged went belly up. Got caught up in all that crap.
Yeah.
And at this time, I'm getting a little frustrated, like, because I'm kind of kicking myself about, the major. And then the independent situation is like, what could you do? But I still built good relationships with people. And at that point, I started coming into knowledge of self. And that's what took me away from music in a good way, because I wasn't concerned with being an artist anymore. I wasn't hard pressed about, the music. I was blown away about Egyptology.
Yes.
Secret societies and forgotten history that I didn't learn, early on in life, and all the lies that were told. And now I'm finding out that they are lies. And, I'm coming into that. So my awareness is like, I'm on.
Yeah, that becomes all consuming once you get on that train.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. So from there, I became this engulfed person with information and knowledge. And then I started associating with different groups here, different groups there, going to lectures, doing this, doing that. And that was the beginning of my journey, far as, my evolution of my culture and my spirituality. And once that took off, that's when I got into certain circles and got a part of certain organizations, got initiated here, got initiated there, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, I want to have that conversation. That's for another day, though. But that's a deep conversation. I need to have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to get your perspective.
It's I always say the greatest gift besides life itself was knowledge itself, because I don't really question too much anymore. It's put in perspective existence for me.
Right.
And a lot of people can't put existence in perspective because they don't have the pieces. So they are subjected to the cause and effect of things that occur in this dimension, by default. And that's not me anymore. So I don't question a lot because I got the pieces to kind of put here and there and know how the schematic work of 3D in this dimension.
Once you collect those pieces, a lot of times life puts them together for you.
Yeah.
You just gotta collect them.
It's a big puzzle, and as the pieces come together, you can see the bigger picture of what we call reality. And even when you get the picture of reality, then the teacher, and you got a physical teacher, and then you have the higher self, will say, hey, okay, now you see this picture, let me dissolve this because there's something behind that.
But not to go too far to the left, but did you find it once you accumulated the knowledge and once you came to that point in your life, did you find it difficult to now continue on living a normal life, being a regular contributing member of society, knowing what you know. Because a lot of times, once you know certain things, and once not just knowing it, but actually understanding it and applying it to life, it becomes difficult to get up and do regular, ordinary shit that everybody else does because you know that it's just not right.
Um,
That
this
was a
is well
struggle for a long time.
this is where self mastery comes in. The way it was explained to me that the universe is based on duality. It has two parts to it,
Hmm.
and as the master, as a student who's on the path of self mastery, you have to learn how to utilize what they call ma'at, balance, and how to exist in this dimension
Hmm.
and function as what society says you should function as, but have a higher understanding of what you're participating in. So there has to be a balance, and it's easy to say you should have a balance, but it's another thing to actually live a balance.
But once you
And
understand that there needs to be a balance, it becomes a lot easier to do.
uh, does it become a lot easier to do?
It does. It does. It's one thing to be questioning that, but once you know, like some things are learned, some things are taught, but once you have an understanding, once you know that you have to have a balance, right? It becomes a lot easier to maintain that balance because you know there is no other way.
One of my teachers explained
Mm.
that he well when he says he calls the path of enlightenment. When you're on the path of enlightenment, you have all the tools and the fundamentals of what you need to do and where you need to go and how you need to achieve enlightenment.
Right.
Now, having free will, you can go back out into the world and participate in that also. But here's the thing: there's repercussions because if you choose to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but when you look at divine order, if you chose to go back out into the world, that's not a bad thing because maybe that's what you need to help you on your path of evolution. It's a catalyst,
True.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, so the hard part is if you choose to forsake your path. It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix. Once you choose to get the red pill, you can't turn back.
And that's my point. That's my point.
It's
It's
impossible to turn
impossible.
back.
That's what I'm saying. And once you realize that there is a way to balance it, you can't not have balance because it's impossible to turn back.
You just answered what I'm saying to myself, like, wait a minute, you just answered what my
Yeah. And that so yeah, that I struggled with that for a minute. Probably
What
longer than
what
most.
what part?
Um the duality of life because I came across all that stuff so young. Sometimes I think it was too soon. I wasn't ready. I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for all the knowledge that was, pouring into me. I didn't have an understanding of it. I was just holding on to all this stuff. And I did exactly what you did, probably like 15 years prior.
Yeah.
Just diving and delving into every religion, just collecting knowledge, right? But then at some point, there's no turning back. Some point you realize it's like a switch goes off and
Yeah.
you just see the whole world differently without effort. And you know that you can no longer live the way you were living without seeing these things, without knowing what you know to be true. So it took me a long time to come to terms and grips with duality, having
Yeah.
to actually sit here with a hat and headphones, talking on a microphone, like when I know the truth. You
Yeah.
understand? Like it was hard for a long time.
There's repercussions. Um uh
Hmm.
Even on the ancestral realm. Because you got to understand you have your ancestry on the higher planes who are doing the work that they need to do to make sure you stay on course. Then you got your higher self doing what it needs to do to make sure you stay on course. Then you got you, even from an egotistical personality, working into that process. So the thing is, anytime you forsake that process, it's going to be extreme consequences for you to try to quote unquote backslide.
Yeah.
By default and ignorance, a person don't suffer as much. It would be more detrimental for me and you to go out there and choose to digress versus a person who's in a state of ignorance to digress, because in that state of ignorance of not knowing, they just chalk it up as cause and effect.
Right. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's going to be more for us. And that's why I say to some people, when you're given certain things, showed certain things, much is required at this point. Now, you either need to walk your walk, and if you choose not to walk that walk, and you can egotistically, life is going to be very rough for you.
Yep.
At every turn. I have someone that I know who their mom is kind of like what Miss Butler was to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the one who kind of set me on. She was very important in being one of my first teachers before she transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her telling me, because I used to ask a lot of questions. And she said, look, one day she told me, she said, everything that I know, you're going to have to learn it, because I'm not going to always be here.
That's right.
To give you the answer. So you have to learn this and retain it and become just like me.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, she transitioned. That stuck with me. So when you're in the midst of enlightened personalities, learn as much as you possibly can, because you never know when that energy is going to be pulled out of this dimension.
That's right.
Yes,
Be a fly on the wall and absorb all that. Listen.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's also funny how separate we all are, but how similar a lot of our lives are. It's crazy. I learned a lot today.
Well, it's all
I was
divine.
thinking that earlier. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Now I understand your hermit-like lifestyle. It makes sense. Because I'm the same way.
It's kind of a necessity.
You have to be that way.
Yeah, because everything's not for everybody. And again,
you're not for everybody either.
I'm not. I don't have
I
all
always
the
say
information.
that. I'm not for everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been collecting.
You got to think you're not for everybody.
And at some point, once you start to connect the dots, right, with facts, not just your own. Because I went through a process where I've read too much, too many contradicting things, too many similarities. Let me just go live, right? Let me just forget everything I read and live these things. Let me forget about masonry. Just forget everything I was taught and go do it. And I did that with everything. But at some point, you get to a point where you have such an understanding of life that you can no longer turn a blind eye to life. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it becomes difficult to do regular things that regular people do. But that's what you talked about, that duality.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of your responsibility now to be able to live in both worlds.
Light bearer.
Yes.
So you have to lead the way now. And I've accepted that, years back, what my a lot of people are like, I don't know why I'm here, my life's purpose and all this jazz. And I tell them I know why I'm here. I know what my purpose is. I know it all. I know why I'm here. I know my duty, what my I call it spiritual paperwork. Why I was sent down. I know it. And I'm fulfilling that. And I'm thankful that I'm aware of that, because a lot of people are still trying to figure that out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to be an individual who's aware of their spiritual, like in the military, when you get orders, I know what mines are.
Your calling.
Yeah. And it's cool that, like they say, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift.
Yeah. It's definitely a curse as well.
But the curse, take for instance, we give you a good gift and a curse scenario for me. The universe and all its collective components, we'll be dealing with ancestry, spirit guides, whatever, has always made sure that I was taken care of no matter what. Every situation I've ever been in, it's always worked itself out. Now, because I know I have a job to do, and it's always going to make sure that I stay on course.
Right.
They veer to the right a little bit, veer to the left a little bit, but they'll bring me back to the
Always
center.
gonna bring you back.
And keep me going, right? Now imagine if you threw something in the equation that would send me in a different direction. Like if you just dropped $2 million in my lap, that's going to be a major distraction for me. This is one of the reasons why no matter how hard people try to be rich and they are spiritually inclined and they're an enlightened personality, money does not come great to them because it will send them off their path.
Right.
Because we're still in human bodies. And we still have things that we have to master and fight on a daily basis as a student to make sure we don't go too far to the left and too far to the right. So there's certain things that don't get thrown into the pot because it will alter the mission. But you'll be taken care of, and you have to come to a point in your life where you accept that and you're at peace to know that, okay, I have everything I need. I'm not lacking anything. Right. Food, shelter, clothing, family's taken care of. I'm good, and I've always been good. Stop looking for the $300,000, $500,000, because that's not a part of your spiritual paperwork. That's not why you came here. You have work to do, not to be Jay-Z or whatever. And I had to put that in perspective when it came down to my music career. Yeah. When I look back on it, I was like, the universe had different plans for me.
Right.
It had different plans. And I know for a fact, had that succeeded, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. The similarities. I made a conscious decision to move away from music because of family. I wanted a family. I didn't want my children to grow up the way I grew up. So I consciously moved away from music early on, like when my son was young, on purpose. Because I still knew, like I knew my purpose. And you're right. If things worked out differently, if I would have pursued music heavy 20 years ago as opposed to raising a family, shit would have been all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And I understand. I understand how the universe works.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sorry.
That's so nice. That is so nice. I love it.
Mm-hmm. We
That's
talk
cool,
for
though.
hours.
That's cool. I didn't.
love
That's
it.
crazy. All these years, I never knew this. This is wild, man. we might be 45 minutes from each other.
Might be,
because I'm north. I went way north.
I'm near the airport, so to speak.
Yeah, nah. Okay, we
not
like
too close to the airport, but
we're like an hour away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everything you said leads to the hermetic lifestyle, right? Because it just makes living easier. It makes that duality a little more doable if I'd stay away from people.
And there's we can get into another conversation at a different time, but where we can actually get into the science of it and when we're dealing with
we done talked Dave, wake up. We done put Dave to sleep. Damn.
Dave's sleeping.
I'm good.
We had a boring conversation. My bad.
That was so not boring.
I'm taking it all in.
Yeah.
That was so not boring.
But yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
I want to get Sis and everybody on at some point. But I know, when the stars align and everything checks out the way it needs to, that will happen.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to that because, I was hoping that I could have got him on this one, but I understand people got different lifestyles. And like I said, it wasn't time,
Yep.
It was not time, but that time is coming. So I'm gonna be patient and wait for it. But I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed everything. Mm-hmm. And
thank you for having us.
No problem, man. I'm just like I said, I want a digital footprint for us to be able to leave something here so people can go back and look at it and say, hey, wow, yeah, because we got something to say. We were here. It's kind of like carving your name in the desk at school, and or getting a school book. And you open the front of the book, they don't have that no more.
Nah,
you can see who had the book last.
Yeah,
right. Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my
kids
god.
will never
that's
get to
funny.
experience that. But
They would
Nope.
never know. They would never know.
Never. Ever.
Even walking to school, the hikes we took, we sound old as hell. Like, boy, in my day, we used to have to walk to school.
Right. Right.
yeah,
I take
cold.
this spoiled brat to school every day,
Yeah,
and she might have a 5-minute walk, but I take her.
You take.
Yeah.
Remember how long we used to walk? How far we used to walk to
Yep.
get to Neptune High School?
it used to be so cold, man.
Damn.
But you
My
know what?
son's actually
It was cold, but I would say it was cold now. Back then, it was cold back then,
but it
but
wasn't really
it wasn't cold.
Nah.
wasn't cold.
That's because we're
Yeah.
older now and we
Yeah.
feel it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Feel that cold in your bones now.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Only want to get out of bed.
yeah.
Oh no.
No doubt.
All right,
All
y'all.
right.
Getting out of here.
We will
Yes,
be in
sir.
touch. Y'all be safe. Thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Yeah, pause for the calls.